But you said you wanted to do a test.
We're live, baby.
You staying home tonight? I hadn't planned on it, no.
No red beanie today, huh?
What?
No red beanie?
Yeah.
You took a shower.
Minus 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Booster ignition and liftoff of Discovery.
You're gonna die.
I'm Raymond Arroyo.
Wait, what is
We'll
it?
see you next time.
Give me the highest time when we're live. Oh, we're live! Welcome to the show, everybody! Maddie didn't clap at all, but it's okay. We're back at the show.
Yes.
The best podcast in the world, the best semi-Catholic podcast. Kyle's in the closet still, and now his friend Brennan did not come back, but that's okay. They're still friends. Brittany's here now.
Hey, guys.
This is the first time you've been on the podcast multiple times. This is the first time you're on visibly.
Yeah, people were starting to wonder exactly how good looking I am, so I had to just show them.
Also, Brittany, St. Francis Xavier, Excellence in Evangelization Award winner. This is the first podcast we've done.
Award for excellence in the new evangelization.
Yes, this
The
is the
new
first
evangelization specifically.
Yeah, this is the
That's
first podcast
cool.
we've done since that went super viral.
Viral.
They showed it at the Seek Conference.
Yeah, if you've
And-
seen this Seek conference, then
Yeah, and
you've
so
seen
you
me.
now, like, what is your life like? What are your DMs? Are they just like carnage, wreckage, just constant?
You know, it's hard because I get recognized in grocery stores now.
Exactly,
And
yeah.
before, I could go to the grocery store in peace.
Uh-huh.
But now, people just keep coming up to me.
They're like, oh, you're the girl.
And, yeah, they're like,
You're the St.
"I
Francis
saw
Xavier
you."
School of Excellence in Evangelization Award winner
Right.
2021.
Exactly.
Wow.
Yeah.
How did you feel about my particular performance in your video? Because
You know,
I was interviewed because
were.
they were like, who exemplifies excellence in evangelization that we could ask about this
Right.
up and coming
Right.
excellence in evangelization
Yes.
award winner?
Yes.
And I was in there,
Yes.
and I talked about you, and
Yeah.
a lot of things were cut out that I
Right.
said. I said a lot of things, like they asked me, like, when you think of Brittany, what do you think of?
Right.
And I said things that they had to bleep out
Yeah.
and cut out. But some of it made it in.
And I believe you even said there's a lot of things I could say about Brittany, but I don't know that there's a lot of things I can say
Exactly.
about her.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I really appreciate that.
Yeah. Our guest today.
Yes. The esteemed.
Our guest today is a man.
Who really needs no introduction.
He needs no introduction, but I will try. All right. Our guest today is a guy who, a long, long time ago.
In a galaxy.
Shut up, Brittany. God. Freaking doing the intro.
Sorry.
So a long, long time ago, there was a man who loved a woman, who loved another person, who gave birth to a child. And that child grew up in the Philippines. And then met a woman, who then that man and that woman had another baby, who then that baby, Maddie, went on to have another child who had another child,
Oh, okay.
who then had this person.
Oh.
And some would call this person a mysterious, silent figure,
A strong silent
a strong, silent type. Shut up, Ricky. Don't talk yet. So,
Also, Ricky, I want to make it as clear as possible that no matter what camera angle I go with, you are in the frame on all three of them.
that's awesome. That's
Can
what
we
do.
see ourselves?
No, we can't. So this person, which I'm about to introduce, has done a lot of things with his life. Most of which we don't know about.
Well, we can't really talk about
We can't
them all.
talk about. We could, but we can't. He
They've been-
started the Creation Project.
Yes.
Some of you
We
might
should talk
be
about
aware of that. He started working with the studio,
Yes.
which we can't talk about the actual name of the studio yet because we're not ready for that.
we haven't signed our NDAs.
Yeah.
Or we have.
And this person has been helping out the studio, and him and his girlfriend came out to visit
to be
just
on,
to check it out.
and to be on an episode of the show.
And specifically came out because he said, I want to have a good career.
Right.
I want to have a successful career. I want to have a
Right.
thriving career.
Right.
And I know that graphic designers that have Catholic graphic designers that have successful careers come on the show.
And they start right here.
Now, David Calavita said once that he wouldn't come on the show because he he needed to save his career.
Well,
He said, I won't come on the show because I want to actually have a career. Which I say anathema to David. Everyone welcome Ricky
yes.
Cruz.
Hello, everybody.
And wait, what's your full legal name?
Antonio Ricardo Ramos Cruz.
Oh, it's kind of hot. Well, are you a junior or a first?
I'm a first.
Okay. All right, cool.
Edmund gets a little squirrely about that because
Yeah.
he's a second.
I'm the second. So Ricky, thanks for being on the show.
Great to be here.
How many times have you been to Texas?
Once. This is my first time.
This is your first time in
Yeah.
Texas? Okay. What do you think so far?
It's great. It's
Okay.
a great place.
You've had barbecue.
I've had barbecue today, Texas barbecue for the very first time.
My wife has made you a wide variety of cuisines. So we had homemade pizza last night.
It was
We had
great.
It was great.
Shout out to Danielle.
Homemade sushi tonight.
Also great.
Yeah.
Danielle also really great cook.
Yeah, she is.
100%.
So Ricky, what do you tell people if you're at a cocktail party, which you often go to? Cocktail parties.
All the time during COVID.
Fancy.
Exactly. During COVID, everyone
Especially in
has a
California.
mask. Yep,
Yeah.
everyone has a mask. You have one of those little toothpicks where it's like cheese, meat, maybe a cracker, and an olive.
Adult
And then
lunchable.
someone is like, "Oh, Ricky, what do you do? What's your story?" What do you normally say in those situations?
I just say I work for Edmund.
Wow.
Just end it.
How does
That's
that make you
awesome.
feel,
How
Edmund?
does that make you feel? Me?
Yeah, I'm curious.
I mean, I'm used to this feeling.
Nerd.
I like people being subservient to me. I also like that Kyle like purposefully pretends that he doesn't work for me.
It is fun.
I also like that.
I think I
can't
just
let
fed
us
into Edmund's ego right there.
You did right there. We also have a mutual friend,
got me
Francis Cabadeo.
Yes.
And
Exactly.
he is also he was your youth minister, right?
He was my campus minister at my high school.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
And
What was that like?
To have him as my campus minister.
Yeah. Yeah, what was that like?
My senior year of high school, I didn't have any connection with the church
Okay.
or like any connection with my faith at all.
Why? What was going on, man?
I mean, I grew up a cradled Catholic.
Okay.
Right. So
Oh, a
like,
cradled.
a cradled.
I've never heard
Catholic.
cradled Catholic.
Cradled
Sweet.
Catholic.
Like a cradle Catholic is one thing, but a cradled Catholic?
Yeah. Past tense.
Yeah.
yeah.
But okay. So I met Francis on a senior year retreat at my high school.
And
How
at this
did you
point,
end up on a retreat if you
because you were
weren't
just
connected?
done girls. That's how I.
Probably a Catholic school. He said a campus ministry.
100%. Yeah. Catholic school.
They forced you on
I
the
had fri-
retreat.
no, I had friends who
When?
because this was a big retreat. This was like the senior thing to do.
Kairos,
Okay,
probably.
okay.
Yeah,
Probably one of
Kairos.
those.
It was
Kairos.
Kairos.
I'm reading like a book right now.
Get the time.
It was like the senior thing to do. So I was
Okay.
like, okay, whatever. My friends are going. And so I went, and that was the very first time that I met Francis.
Okay.
And then we got super close during that retreat. And then after then, we just kept talking.
Did you connect to him because you're also a musician?
Yeah.
Okay.
He asked me, he was like, hey, I know that you play the piano. Do you want to come up, help lead worship? I'm like, okay.
What?
Why not?
Wow.
Dude,
Yeah.
that's a bold move.
Yeah.
In the
That
middle of a
is.
retreat, be like, hey, you.
Kid in
Very
the,
first
kid
time
in
that I
the
met
third
him.
row.
Very first time.
Was he just like, he forgot to bring a pianist or
I mean,
do you think, was he like purposefully like bringing you in or like what? Because that's a bold move. I don't know if
well, he invited like me and a few of my other friends because like we had a lot of very talented people on
Okay.
the retreat. And he's like, hey, you guys should come up, help sing, help play instruments, whatever,
Dang.
during worship. Yeah. So he brought all of us in. It wasn't just me.
You
It was
have to
few
have a
other
lot of
people
talents in California, right? Like you just have to be talented to live there,
Yeah,
No.
that's true.
to do
No.
ministry.
or to do, yeah.
To do ministry.
Yeah.
to go on retreats.
What?
I don't know.
So what was that experience like after that? So you got to know Francis pretty well?
I got to know Francis pretty well. And that was honestly, that was a really life-changing retreat for me.
For what? For why?
Just because it reconnected me with my faith and then also introduced me to the whole worship setting.
Okay.
Because I had no idea what worship was or like worship leading or anything.
So
like that.
how? So you just knew piano because you're Asian, or
I'm Asian, studied it for 12 years. Mom forced me to do it. I mean, this is not.
when did you learn guitar?
Why did
When
you play violin, Edmund?
Because I wanted to date Asian girls.
Oh yeah, why don't you tell the story about that?
That's the story.
This, is the,
I've told it
first,
multiple
this is the
times.
first story that Edmund told me when I landed was about
Oh, yeah.
his-
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, if you're one of these girls that Edmund tried to date in high school, we've Facebook stalked you recently.
Yeah, recently. Yeah,
Yesterday.
I mean, it was like in middle school. It was like we tried band, we tried orchestra, and then we tried like one other thing. and was like, which do you want to do? And when we tried orchestra, I was like, these girls are cute. And then that was it. That was like literally like the only reason I kept going with that. And then so from like 6th grade to 12th grade, I was in orchestra because just kind of fell into it. Never really dated a girl from orchestra.
Or one that's Asian.
Or at all.
Yeah, or an Asian girl. So wait, so you learned piano at a young age? What about guitar?
Guitar, I self-taught myself my freshman year of college.
Wow.
I taught myself guitar for girls as well. So you can see what was going on in my life.
There's a theme.
Yeah, there's a theme here. So so that was your first time at that retreat that you were like, oh, this music thing and the God thing that I'm kind of not okay with, but then somehow that came together.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd say that worship was the turning point in my faith life that turned me back to the faith.
That's an intense statement though to make. Like what was it about worship that?
Because I was so disconnected with the church at that point. I went through confirmation, I did all of that stuff, but I was so disconnected because first off, my friends, a lot of them weren't Catholic, even though I went to a Catholic school. And then second off, the ones who were Catholic didn't go to church, didn't practice anything.
Okay.
And so I found worship as something that reconnected me to the church through music because I loved music, 100%. And then to be able to see that kind of change people's lives through prayer too was really cool.
Did you would you consider yourself a pretty competent musician at that point? Because praise and worship songs are not the most complicated.
No.
Although Francis is very talented.
It's 3 or 4 chords.
Yeah,
it's
like
the same chords.
Yeah. So how did you, like, were you like, oh, okay, I could really crush in this? Because like there's like 4 chords. I know more than 4 chords.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically.
Well, it was like, oh, why is this? No offense, but it was like, oh, why is this kind of like easy? Because I was trained like very differently for piano, so it's different.
Classical piano.
Classical piano, so it's very technical.
Yeah.
But the cool thing about worship was that it's not necessarily just all technical. It's also like, oh, how do I really feel the room? How do I allow the Spirit to work through me and all that stuff? Like, there's more stuff to do with it. So that's what I learned through it.
Yeah,
which was really cool.
So when Francis called you up, you played piano.
Yeah.
And then when did you start doing guitar in worship?
Freshman year of college, I came back and led a retreat. It was like during a break. And he's like, hey, do you want to help out on guitar or whatever?
Wow.
It's like, let's do it. Yeah.
That's brave.
One of my first experiences leading praise and worship was at Georgia Tech. And my friend Chris, for some reason, we like just really liked praise and worship. And then no one was really doing anything at the Catholic Center. Literally, like we coordinate this night where we're going to do, I think we were going to call it praise night, and we were going to play praise and worship music. Literally like 2 days before, I'm trying to teach my friend Chris, who's going to like accompany me with guitar. I'm like, we're trying to work through how to do a bar chord.
Oh no.
And we're going to lead worship. Like, it was rough.
Did you know that he didn't know how to play?
Like, he was just the only other person around that even knew, like, had a guitar and knew how to play it.
Wow.
So he was like, hey man, like this F chord, like how do we, and I was like, let's just work on it. And they were like, dude, and then we did that for a while, and then the Catholic Center got a new pastor or a new priest, and this other priest, Father Tim Hepburn, who's amazing and talented, like guitarist and pianist and stuff. Anyways, the first time we did a praise and worship session, Chris and I still were like the praise and worship guys, because no one else, there was like no one around. So we do this thing, and afterwards we were like, so Father Tim, like, what do you think? And he was so kind. And he was like, I've been around Matt Maher. Like, that was his feet. Like, that was his, he was like
Shania Twain in that moment. That don't impress me much.
Yeah, he was like, look, you know, he was so kind. He was just like, I've been around really talented people.
And you're not, and you're not that.
And he's like, so you're doing good.
Just,
you know,
go higher.
Yeah. Just
be Matt Maher.
Just be Matt Maher.
Be better.
Be a silver fox. So anyways, that was my experience in my first.
Interesting.
How many times have you led worship, Brittany?
I don't play any instruments, but I did sing and cantor for masses throughout college.
Okay.
Oh, that's real. That's very impressive.
For all Latin masses?
Yep.
Wow.
I speak Latin.
It's pretty progressive churches to let a female cantor at
I
a
know.
Latin mass.
I was surprised too.
Yeah. Normally at those churches, the girls are way in the back.
Yeah. They had me in the back just singing, but I couldn't show my face, you know?
Ricky, what's the most embarrassed you've ever been in your entire life?
Ooh, this is a good story.
Because Brittany does this once a week.
I love hearing people's embarrassing stories.
And Brittany is embarrassed once a week.
I think
Also true.
this isn't necessarily embarrassing, but it's embarrassing when I tell the story.
Okay,
I love
let's
it.
have it.
Okay.
We're in.
Okay, so I was 10 years old.
Ooh.
Maddie's my girlfriend. She's over here, and she's already laughing because she
Maddie.
knows.
Can you be embarrassed at 10 years old?
Oh,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah, I think you could.
But I wasn't
I think
embarrassed.
the
I'm
age of
embarrassed
reason-
telling
now,
the story.
Now telling the story.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I was just too much in pain during that time.
Oh.
Okay. But I'll tell you the story. Okay, so I was playing with some of my friends in the neighborhood that we were at, and there's this hill in the neighborhood, and we would always go down it on our razor scooters.
Yeah.
Razor scooters
The
were...
ankle breakers.
Yeah, exactly. The ones that hurt so bad.
Yeah, they're like 3 inches off the ground.
Yeah, and then you're done.
Yeah.
Like you die. So me and my friend, we went down this hill, and the second time we went down this hill, I was I was going down, and I wasn't wearing the right footwear. I was wearing Crocs.
Okay, that's why this is an embarrassing story.
this is-
Flammable footwear.
because
Yeah.
you're wearing Crocs.
Did they like melt?
Basically, they did.
Yeah.
So like, I'm trying to go faster down this hill, and as I'm trying to push the scooter down, my Croc gets caught.
Oh.
My Croc.
in the road, and so like I fall forward, break both my wrists.
What?
and
way.
Both
and
wrists?
split open my knee.
No. Wait, did you break your radius or your ulna or both?
Both.
On both
On
wrists?
both wrists.
You broke 4 bones?
I could
You
not
couldn't wipe.
rotate my.
You
I
couldn't wipe your bummy bum.
Okay.
No,
Like-
you couldn't wipe your bum, right?
No.
Did you have to get help?
Yeah,
Yeah.
other people had to wipe their bum.
No, but the crazy thing is that the two people who helped me, these two guys, like they came out of their car, they helped me up, and we were trying to figure out who they were, but we had no idea who they, like literally.
Your guardian angel.
Yeah, honestly, that's what we thought. Like these guys are literally angels because we've
Whoa.
never saw
Did
them
they
after
take you
that.
home? Or like
No, they helped me up, like walked me to the sidewalk, like
Okay.
away, and we were like, we want to find out who these guys are. And
Yeah.
they never came back to. the
Wow.
street. Yeah, so that's a cool part.
That's
of
a
it.
cool part, but it is embarrassing you were wearing Crocs.
I was wearing Crocs, but then having so
How old were you? You were.
I was 10 years
10.
old.
So this was like how many years ago?
10.
10 years ago?
no,
How old are you?
This is 2000.
10. I was 20. I'm 23 now.
So 13 years ago.
Yeah,
Wow. Crocs were a thing back then.
they were a big thing.
I
back
could
then.
wear Crocs
I
at
don't
that
think when
age.
I
I
was
don't think
10
that's
Crocs had been
embarrassing.
invented yet.
But that's not even the most embarrassing part.
Oh.
So I
gosh.
went to the hospital, got 2 casts, got like a brace for my knee, all that stuff.
You had to
Got
have 2
stitches.
casts on your hands.
Yeah.
So you're just like,
Wait, did the cast go over the elbow or no?
No, it was just
Okay,
halfway.
yeah.
So I got 2 casts. I got a brace for my knee, obviously, and all that stuff. So 2 weeks, I'm still in all of that, and I'm outside, like still saying hi to my friends and all that stuff. And I take one step, and I trip over the sidewalk, and it's the slowest fall in the world. And as I fall, I feel the stitches in my knee break open.
no!
Oh my
Yeah.
word.
You
You split your knee open
I split
again?
my knee open again. And when we
gosh.
went to the hospital,
No.
they're like, okay, we have to double check because we might have to do surgery.
What?
Yeah.
Did they do surgery?
No, they didn't. They just restitched it and cleaned
That
it out.
is
How's the knee look
crazy.
today?
It's basically like, do you know how an ACL scar looks like?
No.
Yeah.
So an ACL scar is like vertical.
Yeah.
So my scar's horizontal. So it looks exactly the
Interesting.
same. Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Wow. That is an embarrassing story just because you were wearing Crocs. Like
I think
I'm
the
still
Crocs
standing
thing
by
was
that.
the worst part
That's
of
the
it.
worst part.
Yeah.
I was on like a motorized razor. I was on like
Rich kid problems.
no, yeah, like my friend had like a razor that had like a motor on it.
Was it legal?
No, it was not legal. It had like a little like a weed whacker engine on it or something.
Oh, so he made it himself.
Yeah, like someone made it. And so,
Wow. Oh my gosh.
and he would go freaking fast on this thing. And so he brought it to my house and he was like, hey man, do you want to ride it? I was like, sure. So I get on it. I'm getting up to speed. And like, do you ever have that feeling? I don't know if you ever had this feeling when you're on a bike where you're like, man, if I just like I just had a little bit of that feeling where I was like, man, like, because a razor, the wheel is so small
Yeah.
that just a little turn. So I'm going pretty dang fast, like pretty fast.
Just
like,
bombing it.
And so I don't know why, but I just waved it a little bit. And it was just enough that it starts going, whoa, and I just fly, and I slide across the dirt or the street.
Yeah.
Like I mean, all
Road
my
rash.
skin
Ooh, road
just is plastered all over the street. And my friend, okay. And then, so my friend starts running after me because he's like, he starts running. So I stand up and I see my friend running after me, but I'm grabbing the moped and I'm picking it up, but it's still revving because I'm holding it wrong. And so it's like, so my friend's running after me and then he sees the thing start spinning and gasoline going everywhere. The gasoline tank had burst. So two of my friends are running after me to help. And then I stand up and they see that and then they start backing up and like running the other way. It was very embarrassing. I was like covered in blood.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That sounds terrible.
Yeah.
That
was rough. Yeah, that was me.
Wow.
What was the other story? I was going to tell you. Reminded me of another story, Ricky, but I can't remember now. But man, that's rough.
So, Edmund, what other ways have you self-sabotaged?
Self-sabotage?
Because, like, that thing in you that's like, I should jiggle the handlebar when I'm going 20 miles an hour on a Razor scooter.
On a Razor scooter, yeah.
That's like in you.
It's
you know, that's like
self-sabotage.
Deep down.
It's like I don't
self-sabotage.
deserve to be successful. I'm gonna sabotage.
So
it.
what kinds of things like that have you done lately?
Lately, nothing really.
I
But
feel like she's getting at something.
No, I don't. I don't
getting
have
at
anything
something, Brittany?
specific in mind.
self-sabotage. I mean, what
I'm
else
just
have
curious.
I done?
This seems like a theme in your life.
I mean, I definitely was the type of person that needed to know that they would have more chances. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like when I was on the basketball team, JV. Yeah, that's right, Brittany.
I'm impressed.
Same.
I was on the JV basketball team, and there was so much pressure around the first time you got game time. And it was like there was so much pressure. Like, here's your chance. If you mess this up, you might never get game time. And I remember the very first time I got game time in a JV game, I wasn't prepared for how the floor felt. The floor was so clean and my shoes were clean that like everything, my shoes just like stuck. And I wasn't used to it. And I was nervous and I wasn't used to that. And just like the pressure of this is your one shot. It was really tough for me. And I remember afterwards, like I didn't do super great. I remember afterwards thinking, man, if I could just tell the coach, like, I just need to get in a groove. But that is not what you get. Like, you don't get that chance. It's not like, yeah, man, we'll just like let you in a few games, just like get used to it.
Just to see.
But everything felt like every step felt important. And I really struggle with that. Actually, that's why I struggle with that with public speaking. Until I, in my head, said, this is not the first and only time you're going to get to speak in front of people.
Right.
But I think if, like, most people, when you get up in front of a crowd, you're like, this is my one shot. This is it. But when you trick your brain into thinking, like, oh, no, you're going to have plenty of chances, like, then it relieves a lot of that pressure.
Speaking of embarrassing stories, when I speak, to get into the groove, I always like to tell an embarrassing story about myself right off the bat. Because, for one, I have so many that it's like,
I could think of some
new material like daily.
Yeah, like you peeing in that garage.
That was an accident. But it can only go up from there, right?
Yeah.
Like if I start a talk.
Wait, yesterday, what embarrassing story did you tell yesterday?
I actually didn't because I only had 10 minutes to give a short little testimony. And so I was like, I don't have enough time to tell an embarrassing story.
What's like your go-to embarrassing story?
There's one, if it depends on how tame I want to be, because I do have a lot of embarrassing stories involving peeing in places.
Like,
and
that's what's weird is that most of your embarrassing stories involve peeing.
I know. I should get some more material, but I mean, I probably will tomorrow.
You should stop peeing in public places.
Pee sells.
Well, that's easier said than
pee
done.
is great. Pee is like pretty good.
Teenagers.
Although, remember on our core team, I was like the first month or two, Kyle, I don't know if you ever knew this, but the first month or two of youth ministry, we trained our core team, we do youth ministry, then we have our first like core team meeting post like, I don't know, 2 months of youth group.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, adults, tell me, like, give me good feedback. Like, let's be really honest about our youth nights. What, what's working really well? What is not working well? What do we not like? And what was her name? Pilar? Or no, I forget her name. But she like raises her hand and she was like, yes, every talk, why is it always about to pee-pee and poo-poo? How come every time you have to talk about pee-pee and poo-poo?
That was probably Julia.
No, it was I forget her name, but Lily.
Oh, Lily, yeah.
But she was like, every time you give a talk, you talk either about pee-pee or poo-poo.
Okay.
And I felt so exposed and insecure.
Yeah. Well, we were dealing with teenagers, right? So
I know, but I don't. But that's a cheap thing. I don't have to do it every single week.
But it sells.
It's still
though.
funny.
They laugh.
Is it that funny though?
Well, when I tell
every
it, it's
single
funny.
week. Okay. So what's an embarrassing story that you tell?
So my go-to if I'm trying to be tame and I don't want to talk about pee is this time that I was, and this actually happened to me after youth group, so it's kind of applicable to teenagers. Yeah. We had gone to Chili's after youth group, and that was
St. Francis.
Yes, that was classic. And as we were leaving, I went. I think there was like this teenage boy. I was walking away and he was like, Brittany, you didn't give me a hug goodbye, or like something like that, And so I was like, oh, okay. And I like ran back to him and I had a to-go box of food in my hand. And I went to jump the curb, but I missed the parking, like,
The median
hump thing,
Yeah,
whatever it is.
The parking hump thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so I was fine off the curb, but then I tripped over that thing and I just like went like full out on my face, my food everywhere. It was pretty bad. It was
The only thing worse than
and
that.
I think I like kind of had a crush on the boy, so it was just
The
bad.
only thing worse than that is being in a public place and waving to someone who is not, has no. I do that redefined like once a month.
Well, it's hard with the mask too.
Yeah.
Because you
Can't
think
tell.
like, oh, that person's
They're
from
looking
here
at me.
up looks like
They're-
I know them.
And they're looking at me. Like, I'll walk into Redefine, and a lot of people know me because I'm there every day. So people will turn and say hi to someone at the cash register, but I think they're saying hi to me. So I'll go, and like do that. And I feel so embarrassed.
Yeah. That's why I don't say hi to people in public.
Yeah. Ricky, when did you start getting into graphic design? Like, when did so you started with the musical skills,
I did.
but at what point did you start getting into digital skills?
So it was when I came back to California, because I was going to college initially in Arizona.
What?
Oh,
Yeah.
we
I
didn't
did not know this.
For like a year and a half, I was in college in Arizona.
Why?
Where'd you go?
I went to ASU,
Okay.
Arizona
The
State.
Sun Devils?
Yeah. I mean,
I've
that's
been to
already
Phoenix.
that's already a sign that you should leave.
Yeah,
Devil's in the name.
Yeah.
it's true. Like,
Anyways, so I went there. I was studying something that I was like not really into, finance and accounting.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We did talk about
But you were
this.
trying to follow in your father's footsteps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like I had this pressure from my parents. Hey, you got to do this and that.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, let's do it. And then I just felt God calling me back home. So I went back home to California, and they started helping out at my local parish, which is right next to my old high school. And they were like, hey, do you want to be part of the core team? I'm like, yeah, let's do it. And then a few weeks after, they were saying, we really want to start a social media. We want to up our social media game. Can you run it? Can you make graphics, take photos, all that stuff? And I was like, okay, whatever. Let's see how this goes. And I ended up loving it.
Who's the youth minister?
At the time, it was Jenna. Her name was Jenna, and she was super cool. And I think she was brand new, probably like a year or so, maybe less.
Yeah.
And she was like, let's just bring you on. Really want you to help out.
Dang.
Yeah.
And you
so I
started making graphics?
I started making graphics on like Canva.
Yeah.
Over.
Yeah.
So just super simple. And then there was like a point where I told myself, I really want to learn more of this because I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed doing it for the church and making it look cool because I didn't see any other youth ministries doing that in the area. So I taught myself Photoshop. And that's really where it took off. And
How'd you afford Photoshop?
student discount.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that's a clutch
It's a
move.
student discount. And my school at the time was giving out the whole Adobe Creative Cloud for free
What?
to
Wow.
students. Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah.
That is.
Brittany, you're an artist.
You could say that.
Yeah. Drink Studio Coffee. DrinkStudioCoffee.com. No, that's not. Wait, that's it? You don't want to share any more about that?
I don't,
This is your
I
opportunity.
do consider
This is
myself
the most successful podcast in the world.
that I'll ever be on.
The most successful semi-Catholic podcast in the world.
Yes.
And you don't want to talk about your art?
I've said this before that I don't consider myself a creative, and that's only somewhat true. Like, I just don't know what you mean when you say artist, and like it's hard for me. We're just gonna go right
deep.
there.
Yeah, let's go deep.
It's hard for me to like create something and then look at that and say that's art. You know?
I feel like that's every creative.
Okay.
There's a book.
Well, maybe we're all
There's
in
a
this
book-
boat together.
There's a book in this studio called like The Story of Art. And the first chapter starts with a sentence that has been stuck in my head for a long time.
What is it?
The first sentence says, "There's no such thing as art. There are only artists."
Interesting.
Discuss.
But then what do artists make?
Well, I think though, to your point, Brittany,
Yeah.
like, yeah, who cares about looking at it and saying if it's art or not?
Yeah.
You're like, if you're making stuff, you're an artist.
Yeah.
Does that help or hurt?
It's deep. I need to process.
I don't like that quote at all. I think art definitely exists.
So how would you define art, Kyle?
Something that speaks to the beyond.
But wouldn't that be everything speaks to the beyond?
I
Everything
think
has
a
the
lot of things are
possibility.
art. Yeah.
Like everything is art.
Yeah.
Yeah. If it's not made by human, it's made by God. He's an artist and he makes art.
What if it's made by aliens?
I
That's
believe
art
they
as well.
were made
God
by
made
God.
the aliens.
Exactly.
Therefore, it's art.
Yeah.
I believe in a creator of the universe.
I also believe in aliens.
Who are made by God.
If
Exactly.
anyone wants to check out any of my creative endeavors and comment on whether or not they are in fact art, you can check me out at handmade, spelled like Mary is the handmaid of the Lord, __ creations on Instagram. I'll see you there.
It's an easy username.
Yeah, to remember. Right.
So have you gotten any DMs after that Seek thing? Or any guys
Are you just
like
going to put me on blast like
floating it-
that?
No, I'm just wondering. Like,
Well,
you
Brittany,
guys-
we're selling your Catholic match actively, so people deserve to know what's going on.
That's true.
Yeah.
That is true. I've gotten a few. I've definitely gotten a lot of new followers, which is interesting because I mean, there was no attribution to my Instagram or anything like that on the video.
Curtis was just like, this person who's going to receive this award,
They
are
he
great.
or she
great.
is very good.
And they really represent this award.
Yes,
And that was
Yes.
that was a lot.
it was.
So you have gotten more followers.
Not that matters to me because
It does matter
I
to you,
transcend beyond
Well,
follower count. You know,
it matters to you. Ricky, what is the weirdest thing you've ever had to design?
Ooh.
Or like, what's the most embarrassing design you've ever made? I'll go first.
Okay.
The very first, the very first ever like kickoff for a youth ministry event,
Yeah.
I probably spent 300 hours designing the like flyer. Like I just,
why is that weird?
what do you mean?
It's
Why
weird
is that
you
weird?
spent so much time, but why you said the weirdest
Okay.
thing you've ever designed?
The
What
other
did
part
it look
about
like?
it was that it looks horrible. Like it just like if I were to look back on it, it looks horrible. I don't even know if I could find it, but it was like, and this is not in the 90s. This is like 2012. I made a
like last
flyer.
year.
Yeah, I made a flyer that was like the radical journey or something. And the design was like radical comes from radix, which means like at the root. So I had like a tree with roots, but then I made Jesus's face like in the tree.
Oh, I actually think I remember this.
And it was the
That sounds
worst.
terrible.
It was the worst.
gosh.
It was so bad. But I spent so much time on it because I was like, this has to look really cool.
You could have just had the roots of the tree without the face of Jesus. It probably would have been
Yeah,
cool.
or I could have just
So then
done the
Jesus
night.
looked like a tree.
Yeah, or I could have spent half of the time I spent on the design. I could have just like
Writing a better talk.
talked to or hung out with kids. you know?
True.
Which brings up the question, like, how much design is too much design? Like, does it matter? Like, does it matter to have good design? Does it not? I think it's something a lot of youth ministers in particular, like now, struggle with.
Yes.
Because there's so much good design out there. So as a youth minister, you're like, oh man, if my stuff doesn't look good, I'm a
name of the
failed
game.
youth minister.
It's the name of the game now.
Yeah.
But I think there's a lot to be said for borrowing and building on what people create rather than starting from scratch and feeling like you have to reinvent the wheel. Because chances are most youth ministers did not get into youth ministry because they want to do graphic design.
No.
And if that's true,
No, you
then,
get into it because you want to be famous.
right, and rich.
Yeah.
And then become a famous Catholic speaker.
Exactly.
And win an award at Seek.
And be wealthy
Yeah.
because they pay youth ministers so well.
Yeah.
But they can build on things that other people are doing with permission and, proper
Yeah. Attribution.
and payment, where credit and payment are due. But that way they don't have to spend their time.
That reminds me of, when is the last time, Brittany, that you lied and got caught?
Okay. I lied on accident, kind of, but I didn't get caught. Actually, okay, never mind.
Ricky,
that was
you?
yesterday.
What? Oh my gosh. Something happened yesterday?
I felt bad about it afterwards.
You
because,
lied yesterday?
It was an accident, kind of. Like, I was giving a talk. It was during my testimony. And
You lied during your testimony?
It was an accident.
Oh my gosh, this is almost as bad as one of my friends. We're giving a presentation in youth ministry, like 101 or something, and we're supposed to give a talk. He gave this whole talk. He told this whole amazing story about like bringing cookies to some event or youth group and then getting embarrassed and throwing them in the bush and blah, blah, blah. And then afterwards, we're like, man, that was a really crazy story. Like, that's really awesome. He's like, it didn't happen to me. He told someone else's story.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh.
Well, I just accidentally said, like, I was talking about the times that I had encountered God, and I said, this was like a very small snippet of the beginning of my testimony, and I said, I could tell you 1,000 stories of the times and ways that I've encountered God, starting in 3rd grade all the way up to yesterday. And I like felt bad when I sat down. Or no, I said, oh, this is what it was. I'd meant to say yesterday, but I ended up saying this morning. And I hadn't prayed that day yet because I'm a night prayer. And I just, for some reason in my brain, it like felt like I would sound holier to say that I had an encounter with God that morning. So I felt really bad about it.
You should.
If you were on that retreat, I'm sorry that I accidentally lied to you.
Yeah, it's
because
pretty
I
dumb.
pray at night and I don't encounter God in the morning.
Yeah.
You guys ever sin during confession? I did that once.
Like
you did that
lied.
like recently, right, Kyle?
Well, no, that was after confession. I made the conscious decision not to gossip.
Good work.
Okay,
No,
okay.
but a couple years ago, I remember I was in confession. Now I remember what I was confessing. I'm sure it was like a ton of things. And
stuff.
I finish up, and it's like time to say the act of contrition, right? And the act of contrition was always a little tricky for me. And I'm looking at the sheet, and I'm like reading off the sheet because I was behind the screen, pretty slick. And I start mixing up, like, you know how when you're copying something from online, you have to like change up the words so it's not plagiarized? I start doing that with the act of
You don't have to do that with the act of contrition.
Right, but I want to be very, very real and raw with y'all. Is that I did that intentionally because I wanted the priest to think that I like knew a different act of contrition. That I like was a kid who like knew the act of contrition, but
And
just like
why did you
in
care?
my
You're
own
behind the
words.
screen.
I don't know why, Brittany. It was a sin. I was deliberately misrepresenting myself to look good. And I remember thinking, I walked in, I was like, damn it. I was like, so absolution was after that.
Yeah,
I
you're
was
like, should I go back
I was
in
like,
there?
does that count? I don't think it was a mortal sin. Probably is kind of like swept under the rug.
I used to do that all the time. I would go to confession, and if it was Father Flynn, like my pastor, and I was in confession, I would be behind the screen, but I would take on some other character.
Like, did you do an accent?
No, I just like, I would shove my son, and I'd be like,
Stop. Are you serious?
Yeah, I would like try to change my voice. And then also, sometimes I would like flub the act of contrition to kind of act like, oh, I haven't been to confession in a long time.
Oh my gosh, he
Yeah,
probably
it's really
knew
bad.
exactly
but
who you
but
were.
I'd be like, he'd say like, now say an act of contrition. I'd be like, oh my God, because like I just would like.
It would have been so much easier to just go to a different priest.
I know.
Father Flynn called me out once. I was doing a similar bit.
What'd he say?
Well, I went to confession. I was just confessing my normal sins. I wasn't really disguising my voice, but I was there. I was behind the screen though.
Yeah.
And like he finishes up and he's like, oh, whatever advice, go pray your Hail Mary or whatever. And he goes like, oh, also Kyle, like did like the Nerf night go really well yesterday?
Oh
He was
my
just like speaking like
gosh.
really casually, and I was like, why are you doing this to me right now, Father?
You're behind the screen. That's not
God.
You're
okay.
like, Father, don't say my name. I'm
Yes,
behind the
don't,
screen.
And
like,
I was like, how
at
do you
least-
know what it means? Like your voice is really annoying.
It
I was
is.
like, whoa, relax.
You do have a pretty distinct
You have
voice.
a New York accent.
I have
It's
a
so
very-
weird.
I don't have a New York accent. My
Yes,
mother
you do.
corrected me about this the other day. She pulled up some internet sources on it. Apparently, there's a specific New Orleans dialect that sounds almost identical to a Brooklyn accent.
Okay.
No, just Kyle kind of sounds like Jewish a little bit.
I have Jewish family.
I know, that's what I'm
makes
saying.
sense.
Is Jew-ish.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like he's got a little bit of Jew.
Extended.
Yeah, he's got a little Jew in him.
Ish.
Yeah, like a little Jewish in him.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little Jew in them.
Also, you have a particular.
Your dad's a convert, right?
Yeah,
Yes, he converted 2 days
Praise
after I
the
was
Lord.
born.
but like Kyle has a specific cadence to the way he talks.
Definitely.
You would have to have to
Definitely.
really slow down Kyle in confession for me not to clock you and be like, that's Kyle.
Especially
Kyle.
when it's something I don't want to say, I start talking way faster. Like,
I bet.
I
I
got
bet
like
you
my
do
list
when you
of
get
sins,
nervous.
and I'm just like pew 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 pew, and it's
Yeah.
like the worst one is like in the middle.
Oh, yeah.
You
Like,
just
the
sandwich it in there.
sandwich.
Yeah. You're
It's like-
lied to my mom, killed a guy, also
thought.
lied about my weight, and then it's like, wait, you killed a guy?
Yeah,
It's like, don't worry about that. It's just once.
always trying to throw the priest.
Never
off.
again.
Blood was
Yeah.
everywhere.
No,
There
I
are-
had to do confession standing up last week. I went to confession and it was this deal, it was like this COVID deal where it's like in the chapel, and it was a parish I didn't go to, thankfully, because I'm like making eye contact with the priest, and he's sitting down in the pew, and I just have to like stand there. I've never felt guiltier in my
What?
life.
Weird.
And I
It was
"Can
like
I
getting in
sit
trouble with
down?"
your dad.
Yeah.
No, because he's just sitting down looking at me in this like bright chapel. We're the only ones in there.
And
I'm
there's
just, like,
no seat for
standing.
you?
Yeah, yo, he didn't let me. He said, just start. And I was like, this is frightening.
Rough.
Wow.
Rough day.
That's
Yeah.
super weird.
I was on trial. And then at the end, I had to do a punishment. It was a prayer.
I think
you
the
get
worst
convicted?
thing a priest can do to me when I'm in confession is just like pay me no attention. Just be like, just like brush me off. Just kind of like
Why?
you-
Because how does that make you feel?
it makes me feel like, yeah, just like,
Makes it harder to forgive yourself.
yeah. It's just kind of like, nah.
You want a little chastisement.
Yeah, I want a little bit of like, oh man, that was really,
Yeah. Like some
mulligan.
guidance.
Yeah, it was kind of
Yeah.
like, mulligan. You know, like you really screwed
You
up
really
there. But
messed that one up.
when I was in high school, I had a friend who was Coptic, Orthodox or whatever.
Wow.
And he said, he was like, he found out that I went to confession often, and I was like, yeah, man, I go. And he's like, why? Like, why do you? He's like, I go like once a year, and I was like, why? And he's like, because when I go to confession, it's like this old Egyptian man who's holding like a staff with a crucifix on it, and I'll say my confession, and he'll hit me in the head in the middle of my
What?
confession,
No way.
and be like, why you do that? And like yell at you.
And Edmund's like, I want that.
I was like, I would love that.
Once
He's
a
like,
year.
no, you don't. Yeah. My friend.
I need to
forget
be
his name, but
punished.
yeah, he was like,
By the crucifix.
he's like, I go maybe once a year because he'll literally start hitting me.
Oh my word.
Yeah, hitting me with the crucifix like on the staff and saying like, why are you doing that?
Do they
Why
do
would you
that to girls too?
I don't know. How could he tell?
Do you ever try to flex on a priest so he is more of a jerk to you? Like sometimes I'll tell him, I'm like, ever since I got out of college at Franciscan University, it's stupid. But that way, like I know he's gonna like treat me worse because I love it when they're mad at me. Like I want that.
Oh my gosh,
Because, like,
you guys.
Sometimes I'll confess
This is
something
some
and I'm
sadistic
thinking
stuff.
he just is like, oh well, like it's really good that you're like going to church, and I like don't know how to like tell him that
Yeah,
like I
you're
go
like,
to church.
Yes.
Father,
Yeah,
we
I don't
get on my level
Yeah,
here.
because like if you go and they'll think, oh man, it's just really good that you went to confession.
Right,
like,
right.
This is the first time in 5 years, and you're like, no, Father, like,
Yeah.
come on, I go a lot, and then you get like a different,
Yeah.
because like sometimes the priests are just so happy that people
You're
are
there,
even
yeah.
going to confession.
True.
Yeah.
And you want to just say like, no, I go a lot, like I'm pretty scrupulous, like I'm pretty, and then you want them to kind of give
I feel
you
like
the-
you could intro yourself at the beginning and say, like when you were in youth ministry, you could say like, I'm a youth minister.
yeah.
And then,
Yeah.
that way he kind of is like,
You could kind
oh,
of
you're
open.
in it.
You could kind of like, what would you open with to signal to the priest? You'd be like, "Forgive me, Father, for I've sinned. I've read."
Do you not say the time?
Intro to the devout
I
life.
always say, "Forgive me, Father, for I've sinned. It's been like 1 month since my
Yeah,
last
yeah, yeah.
confession." Like,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
a big one.
yeah,
I
that's
think.
true. Because if it's been like 4 weeks,
I know,
then
but
they're
sometimes
probably
they're-
like, okay,
but
he
if you
goes a
say-
lot.
Right.
But if you say 3 weeks, sometimes they automatically assume you're just like overly scrupulous.
Yeah,
one day.
or what if it actually
what?
has
One
been?
day.
It's been 1 day since
been
last
one
time.
day. since my last
JP2
one.
went every day, and if he went
That's
every
true.
day, I should have gone 3 times in the middle of this podcast.
But still, I mean, like,
But it was also JP too.
but what do you open with that signals to them that you know
Maybe
what's up? You're
you
like,
go face to face rather than behind the screen, and you just wear a shirt with like a picture of St. Francis de Sales on it.
Yeah, but you don't want.
Yeah,
but
hipsters saying like you don't want.
I know, but you don't want to give like overly scrupulous vibes.
Yeah.
But
maybe
you
we
want
need
him.
spiritual directors. Maybe that's what that's for.
You want
I think
him
we
to
have a solution to
Yeah,
this.
that's probably true.
But you want him to understand.
Yeah,
that,
if
like,
we had regular confessors, then we probably wouldn't be having this conversation.
Yeah.
But I really think the "Forgive me, Father, for I've sinned." I attended Franciscan University.
Well, I just bring it
That's
up.
a weird.
Well, because it's always in context. Like I'll be like, oh, like I whatever. Like I feel like I have been praying as much since I left Franciscan University. But like it comes off in context as not that pretentious. But
But
also
then it gets
comes
the priest kind of like, you know what? Screw this guy. I'm gonna really lay into him.
But
I'm
then
gonna make
also
him pray a whole
It's me
rosary.
making an excuse. 'Cause
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like
yeah.
just because I don't have a chapel in my house anymore with the Eucharist, like I
Yeah.
can still pray
Yeah,
if
yeah.
I want to.
Have you ever had priests give you really weird penances?
Oh, weirdest penance. That's a good round table.
Because I think one time a priest gave me a penance that wasn't technically like allowed. Yeah, it was something like, don't ever do something again. It was like, for your penance, don't ever. It was something weird. And
I got
remember
told to break up with a girlfriend once.
what?
Whoa.
As your
Did you
do
penance?
it?
No. I was in high school.
Well, clearly you've
I was
done it
18.
since.
Yeah, I did break up with her a few months later. And I was dating this girl at youth group. She's a sweet little girl. Her name's Alec. You guys know her.
Oh, yeah.
Probably shouldn't have
Yeah.
said it live, but I mean, she's
We're
a nice
getting
girl.
no camera angle switches. What is our camera on right now? Because I want to make
It's
sure that we
on-
get this.
It's on the middle camera.
Okay.
Oh, it's not right
But
on
maybe
me.
it should be on you as you tell us.
My camera died a bit ago.
Oh, man.
Sorry, man.
So, anyways, I go to confession. This is good. It's like I'm behind a metaphorical screen right now.
Right.
okay.
And I was talking to somebody like mentioned like, oh, I'm sinning. Like I want to be like better for my girlfriend. He goes, yo, you have a girlfriend? And I was like, yeah. He goes, how old are you? I was like, well, I'm 18. I was like thinking, yes, like good thing I'm 18.
Yeah.
Because it's at my high school. This is with a
Legal adult.
This is with a Latin mass priest for context.
Okay. I know. I already know
And
what's
he,
gonna happen.
he goes, so like you're dating a girl? I was like, yeah, I'm dating a girl. And he goes, well, are you guys gonna get married? And I was like, well, I don't know. We're just dating. He goes, well, like, are you trying to get married like now? Like, are you on that timeline? I was like, well, I probably don't want to get married till I'm out of college. I think. He goes, you shouldn't be dating this girl. Like, I really don't think you should be dating this girl.
Wow.
So then I had to double down. He basically told me I should do it. It wasn't like in the penance, but he's like, you need to break up with this girl. He didn't say it in the penance part. So then I had to double down. You have to like go to someone else, like a second opinion. I went to confession. I was like, let me just like sit in real quick. So I'm going to confession with Father Flynn. And I was like, Father Flynn, what do you think about this? He's like you do whatever you want, Kyle. Like you can date someone. You're like,
Dude, you
18.
should have just told that priest when he was like, look, do you want to get married? And you're like, no. And he's like, all right, then you should break up with her. You should be like, you know what? You're right, Father. I think I'm going to propose to her. You've been like, you know what? You're right. I'm going to marry her.
I'm going to get serious.
I'm going to marry her this week. You're right, Father. You
Latin
told me to
mass-
marry
Seals
this
the
girl
deal.
Father,
now.
will you say our wedding next
Yeah.
Thursday?
Latin
Father, I'm
mass
going to tell my
priests-
parents that you told me to marry this girl now.
Yes.
You don't say that to like the modern day priest.
Yeah.
In the confessional, he holds all the cards.
Well-
I am but a small boy.
That's true because he will.
I know, but
he
you make
will
him feel
refuse
like-
to absolve you.
No, but you're
Oh,
just like,
sure.
you're right, Father. I should marry her. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you
I was
kind
too
of catch
scared.
him. Like, you agree with him.
Yeah.
And then you double
Catch him
down.
off guard.
Yeah, he will refuse to absolve you if you're not
Yeah.
contrite enough in his opinion.
Really?
So I've heard
Are you
I've heard
serious?
stories of
in
that.
his
Yeah.
opinion.
That's intense.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah, you have to be ultra contrite.
I had a priest roll his eyes at me one of the few times that I knelt down to receive communion.
Oh.
This was in Key West or something, and we were like on vacation. It was one of the few times like I'm out of Franciscan for vacation. I'm with my family, rather like a different church. I'm like, okay, I'll kneel down and receive. Like, no one knows me. No one, blah blah blah.
It's like a bold move because you're not with your
And I was
normal
in,
crew.
like I was just like
very acceptable at Franciscan.
well,
Yeah.
but also at Franciscan, it was more like I was more nervous to do it there because everyone's around. Like I just,
Yeah.
you know, and I just felt I was like, okay, I'm in a different place. Like no one will know
for the first time.
Yeah, for the first time,
Yeah.
like no one will know, and I'll
Interesting.
do it here, and that'll be cool. And so I like kneel down, and this priest like go and then looks down, and then goes and like rolls his eyes, and then gives me the Eucharist. I was so mortified. I was so it was like he was
Yeah.
pissed that I like held up the line. There was like 20 people there for
I
mass.
did once I typically genuflect before I receive.
That's a good compliment.
And which
holy.
I feel like is a good compromise. Doesn't hold up the line. And
It's cool that you genuflect and you put your head on the floor and you lay prostrate.
yeah, that's
For like
what
a
I do.
minute.
It's like a real subtle
Yeah.
genuflect.
It's
you know?
cool too because you make people walk around you.
Yeah, because I'm normally sobbing, you know.
Yeah.
But I had someone ask me to stop. Because I
Stop
this
genuflecting?
Was, yeah, this was in it was in college, but it was at St. Francis.
They said, "Hey, can you stop genuflecting?"
They said it looks like you're doing it to draw attention to yourself.
just
and-
to take a quick knee.
Yeah.
Just take a quick first down before
Yep,
you go
just
up.
a quick little knee hit the
That's
ground,
common.
pop back
But
up.
who was this person that asked you?
a staff member at St. Francis.
What?
No, I had that happen to me, except
Yeah.
it was my own father told me after.
Oh,
Mass.
wow.
He's like,
Not
"Why are you
to
doing
genuflect?
that?" He's like, "You're just trying to draw attention to yourself." And I was
Yeah.
like, "Well, it was always like that. Like I've seen people do it. It's like an important
the
thing."
God of
Yeah.
the
He's
universe
like, no.
is looking me in the face, and I'm just gonna get on my knee real quick.
I'm
Dude, do
convinced
whatever you want.
that If
Do
I
whatever
could've
you want.
just ripped off like 5 in a row without getting embarrassed, I think I would have done it forever. Like I think Eben, if you could have done 5 kneels in a row without the Key West, you'd be a kneel guy
Yeah.
and you'd be immune.
Yeah.
But we all fumbled the bag
Yeah.
at some point.
I
and-
still genuflect before.
I still do as well.
Congrats.
Yeah, thanks.
But I will do.
I held the line.
But I will wait. Like I'll do it as the person in front of me is going
Yeah.
up.
I do that too. Yeah.
Is that what you were doing when they were like, "You're drawing attention to yourself"?
I think so.
Really?
That's
That's some BS.
Yeah.
That's some
I was
straight up crap.
And then one time, and this was obviously pre-COVID, but it was during flu season. I was home for Christmas from college, and I started receiving on the tongue in college. And when I was home for Christmas, I went to go receive on the tongue, and the deacon refused and made me receive in the hand. And then later said that it was because of
the
flu season that the bishop had maybe asked people, but there was no announcement or anything like that at the beginning of mass that you should only receive in the hand. So I was just embarrassed and
That's
felt
some
like it was really
crap.
awkward.
That's some crap, man.
Yeah.
Man, I'm just licking people's fingers during COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just put it in my mouth.
Yep.
That is
Hell yeah.
crazy.
I'm down with that.
I do look forward. That's one of the things about COVID being over that I hope will return sooner than later is
Receiving all the time.
just the ability to receive the way that
Yeah.
you want to receive.
Yeah.
I don't want to stop people who want to receive in the hand.
yeah.
Man.
But
Also, people want to receive on the tongue. You know.
yeah,
Yeah.
freedom. It's a free country.
Amen.
America.
Sometimes though, I've received on the tongue with a priest that kind of like gets like a knuckle in.
Yeah.
Oh
like-
yeah. He
yeah.
like literally
Been
puts
there.
his whole hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
in your mouth.
He like wants to make sure he gets it in there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and that does make me go, maybe next time I won't receive on the tongue. Maybe next time I'll do
I've
it
had a
myself.
priest miss my mouth.
What?
Yeah.
And put it where in your ear?
He hit me like right here on my
No!
chin. Yeah, below my mouth. I'm like, dude, are you blind?
Yeah.
Or like, so it was a good awkward like 2
was like,
seconds. of him like, oh crap, like I
He's
missed
like
your
trying
mouth.
to put his debit card in the
Yeah,
ATM.
like, sorry, my chip was denied. yeah. It was that was another awkward story. Yeah.
Weird.
You ever had a priest like criticize the congregation for not receiving in the mouth in the right way?
Yeah.
Like you would
No.
see this a
Yeah.
lot at.
Oh, yeah. Didn't this happen at St. Francis?
They tell you like stick your tongue
Yeah.
They're
out.
like,
Yeah.
come on. Like
Like really stick your tongue
They're
out.
like, we're not playing slot machines. Like, come on. Give us a landing to put the.
Yeah.
I've had a priest yell at his congregation for not receiving on the hand correctly.
Well, how do you not receive on the hand correctly? You're just like,
Well, if people
Because
are
is it like
You just go like
supposed to be
this.
right-
Hand over hand, right?
No, it's dominant hand underneath.
Yeah, that's.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a great hand guy. I did it
Yeah.
for a while. I changed it at some point. I got holy at some point, but like the form.
Kyle
is
in the
still
closet
there.
is a great hand guy.
Hand guy. No,
This
but like
is one
he
of those
literally got
friends
so
thing.
mad.
If you look at someone and you just go like this,
Yeah.
it's a little offensive.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, but
Yeah.
if you're in a Catholic world and you go like this, they're like, oh, the Eucharist. But if you like go walk outside and you just start going like that to people,
That's
We're like,
offensive.
this
that's a
guy's
very
crazy.
offensive. Wait, so why was he? What? Like, were people just going up like this? Like, give me.
No, it was for the exact reason that Brittany was
Yeah.
talking about. Like people were doing right over left instead of left over right, and he's like, it's supposed to be left over right.
So what did the?
Well, it's
so,
dominant
but who cares?
underneath.
Yeah.
So
Wait,
if you're a lefty,
but if you put right,
Left-handers
and then you
aren't
just,
people.
I see some people just put it in there and then they just go.
Just
weird.
pop it in. Pop
I
the
had a
Eucharist in.
priest at a parish that I worked at in Toledo. He was upset because there were a lot of middle schoolers who had permanent marker all over their hands.
Oh.
And so they would go to do it, and he just didn't like it. He just did not like that people had permanent marker on their hands.
Receiving the Eucharist, yeah.
Yeah,
Can you imagine though, like drawing a big circle, and
It's
you're
like a target.
you draw an arrow, and you're like,
Jesus
you're like,
here.
place Jesus here. The Eucharist goes here. You're like,
The perfect circle.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do always try to make sure my hands are clean before I go to mass, just especially now, receiving on the hand.
Yeah. You should probably make sure your hands are clean most times.
Yeah, but sometimes you're like, doing a project right before or something. And
What?
You're like,
Doing a
like
she's an artist.
I'll have paint.
How
all
dirty
over
are
my
your
hand.
projects?
Like,
oh, okay. I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Isn't
Come as
it
you
Muslims like they can't read the the Talmud? No, that's Jewish. The
Quran?
Shrivna, the Quran. They can't read the Quran if they've like recently been to the bathroom. If they have to wash their hands. They have to clean their whole bodies
Makes
before they
sense.
even. Well, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it does.
Why?
Because it's like preparing yourself. Like it.
The idea makes sense.
Maddie,
Bless
can
you.
you turn the heat down a little bit?
Have you guys, one of my favorite Catholic things is when someone uses a lot of theology to prove to that they're being dumb. What I mean, my favorite example is when I was a kid, we would go to daily mass sometimes before high school because we were really holy and stuff. And
then.
what would exactly what would happen is my dad, after a while, was getting annoyed because mass would go a little long and we wouldn't have time for breakfast. So he made up this rule where you could leave mass early if it was daily mass right after communion because it wasn't your Sunday obligation. And I get what he was saying. There was some thought process here. But we went to mass with the intention of skipping out after the Eucharist.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking this is weird because you don't usually see that at daily mass. So we'd be getting half looks. You get the respect looks from daily mass people.
Because
It's
you've been at
you
daily
brought your
mass.
family to daily mass, but then you left early.
But then you left early.
Right.
And people are like, well, you must have an important job. You have somewhere to go.
Right. I just always thought that was interesting because it wasn't like we were trying to get to school.
Also-
that was because we wanted breakfast.
Also, daily masses last 25 minutes, so it's if you leave early, what?
It was a
22
Cistercian
minutes?
daily mass, and those would end with the monks
It was
would
at
start
the
going
Abbey?
crazy. Yeah, it was at
Yeah.
the at the Abbey.
Yeah.
We were those kids. So it was a layered discussion.
If any Cistercian monks are watching this, because I think they do play our podcast.
Actually, all the Cistercian monks, there's a thing where every Thursday night, all the Cistercian monks, everywhere that they are, all over the globe,
Yeah.
they sit down and on Thursday nights they eat macaroni and cheese,
Yeah.
and then
with hot dogs cut
with
up
hot
in it,
dogs cut
which
up
is
in
kind
it.
of weird.
Yeah, and then the head Cistercian will take the dogs and he'll cut them. And he'll just put them in the pot
Yeah.
and stir it up. But they'll all eat mac and cheese and hot dogs.
Yeah.
And they will watch the show. They'll watch the show.
Yeah, so
we actually broadcasted live only for them.
Yeah,
Right.
It's a secret
really
link.
cool.
right, we have a direct feed into
But
the Abbey.
Cistercian habits, what color are they? They're white.
They're
White.
white, very white.
So because of the mac and cheese and hot
They
dogs,
have to wear those.
they wear the brown,
Yeah.
which is why they call it brown night.
Right.
For both reasons. One
Right.
the brown here and then one the brown after. So they make the brown after the podcast.
Speaking
Maddie.
of, though, any fathers or brothers who are watching this, I would like it if you guys would bring back the Friday night mass on First Fridays. That was a great mass. So can you just bring that back? Thank you.
What'd you like about that mass?
It was really solemn. They had a scola, which was great. And
Is that a small girl?
yep.
Okay.
And at the end of the mass, they would turn off all the lights and pray the Salve all together.
Aw.
And then you just leave, and they would have it at, I don't know, it was kind of late, maybe 8 on Friday nights, but then it's over by 8:30 or 8:45.
But you have a whole thing about Wednesday, didn't you think Wednesday night mass should be, or maybe it was my wife, but you thought Wednesday night mass should be at a different time?
No, I think actually all the other masses should be at the same time that Wednesday night mass.
Do you think
Yes. Daily mass is a scam. It's at 10 a.m. everywhere. And if you work
or
a job,
at
you
our
can't
parish
go.
it's at
Yeah.
8:30, but it's I have
So
9
should it be
o'clock appointments.
5?
No, I actually think 6 is perfect because
6:30 a.m.'s House of Surgeons did. I thought that was
But that
perfect.
means
6
that poor
p.m.,
priest has to
friends,
wake up
6 p.m.
every
friends.
day, 6
yes,
p.m.?
I want a 6 p.m. mass every day.
But what about the people that want the 6 a.m. mass every day?
Well, they can have a different priest.
It's a full-time job. They can say mass twice a day.
That's true. They could take a nap in the middle of the day.
That's true. What else do priests have to do?
They just have sacraments.
Yeah, that's all they have to do.
They're spending too much time doing graphic design and not enough time giving us daily mass.
Accurate.
Hey.
Amen.
We want our priests saying mass, hearing
doing
confessions, healing the sick.
Yeah. Baptizing people,
curing the blind,
putting them in the grave.
Kyle's basically saying get off
evangelizing
Photoshop.
grapevine.
Yes.
Get off Photoshop, priests.
And stop watching the show.
You know
Don't you
what?
have sacraments?
There are too many priests using graphic design tools. Like there's just
Right.
so many priests using
Right.
graphic design tools. Like
Yeah, I mean, how many graphics of men in collars do we have to look at? They're all the same.
Yeah.
Stop reinventing the wheel. Just use your other friend,
Totally.
your bro
Yeah.
priest's graphic that he made.
What if we
Just-
have a graphic design priest sweatshop? You know how like the priests who don't ever leave,
Ooh, that'd
like
be nice.
the
wow.
like those Trappists,
Yeah.
those Carthusians, like they don't ever
Yeah,
talk.
yeah,
Just
yeah.
have like one of them is like you make graphic
Turn it out
design.
That's all they do.
graphic.
That's all they do.
Every
Yeah,
day.
that's a good
the
idea.
other day
Kyle.
I was watching
Division of labor. Capitalism's built on that theory.
The other day
Yeah.
I was watching a super secular, scandalous podcast, and the girl. So it was on Your Mom's House with Tom Segura and Christina Pajitsky.
Yeah.
And at the end of, or like towards the end of the show, they'll just pull up TikToks, and they were watching
Oh,
TikToks.
yeah.
And one of them was the Daughters of St. Paul. So like it was just so weird to watch something
That
like
is
that.
really interesting.
And then all of a sudden they're like, and it was the Daughters of St. Paul, and one was like hidden in a trash can or something, and another sister came over, and then she like popped out, and she was just like, oh goodness. And then they just made fun of the fact that
That's
like,
so
oh my
sweet
gosh.
and wholesome.
Yeah. They're like, oh, this is so wholesome. And then afterwards
Yeah.
it was like some really horrible
Raunchy.
TikTok.
Yeah.
But that was really
I don't
weird.
like watching people's reactions to TikToks.
I know, but it felt weird to see something that feels so far away.
Yeah.
Like, and then it was like the Daughters of St. Paul,
Yeah.
like where we buy catechisms from.
Right.
It was like all of a sudden, like, oh wait,
and
this
then
is
it's
weird.
like anything you say about them is a little offensive because you're like,
Yeah.
there are
Yeah.
people you can't.
But
you
they were
know,
like, oh wow, these people are really cool. Like I didn't know, like they said, like, oh, I didn't know nuns had this much fun. Like they seem so
Aw,
happy
that's
and
sweet.
joyful.
That is nice.
Yeah.
I feel like this is more than just a semi-Catholic podcast tonight.
Yeah, this has been pretty straight up.
Yeah, we have been
This is like,
Catholic.
No, this has been like full frontal podcast, Catholic
Full
podcast.
It's
frontal
been deep.
Catholic.
Yeah.
It's been
Yeah.
funny though. Like we haven't been that serious
Right.
about the
Yeah.
faith.
Time to change topics.
Yeah. Okay, let's change topics.
Drugs.
Ricky.
Yay or nay?
Well, no, let's just go around the room. Let's start with Ricky. What's the worst mortal sin you've ever committed?
Oh, hi. Thanks for checking in. I'm still a piece of garbage.
What's the worst mortal thing?
No, you don't have
You don't
to
have to
answer that.
You don't have to answer that at all. But I'll go first with mine. So I killed a guy. No. Brittany, what do you hope if Ricky were, not that he will, not that we're putting pressure on him.
Favorite 7 deadly sin. We can each choose each other's.
Okay.
Ooh.
Okay.
Wait, where was? Okay.
I'm lust. Called it. Sorry.
You said we can choose each other's. You can't choose your own. You're greed.
Oh no.
Wait, we choose each other's?
That's what Kyle
Wait, would
said.
I rather be greed or envy? Let me think about that for a second.
You don't get to pick your own.
But I'm just like ranking. Just how do I?
Can
feel
someone
about
just
it?
list the 7 deadly sins?
we
greed,
pull it up?
envy, wrath?
Okay, wait.
sloth,
Let's see if we can do this together. Greed,
Greed, envy,
Wrath.
wrath,
pride,
pride,
Lust.
sloth, lust.
sloth.
Lust.
Lice.
Do we count?
No.
that?
Okay, wait. I don't know if one person has to count here. Edmund, I want you to count. Because I'm going to put the camera on you.
Okay. Let's go again.
Here we go.
Greed and envy,
Greed, envy,
sloth,
sloth,
pride,
pride,
wrath,
wrath,
lust,
lust.
gluttony.
Is that all of them?
Yeah.
It's only 7.
Yep.
Isn't one of them like quote tweeting something or like isn't one of them
Avarice is used in weird times. I don't know which one that is.
Is avarice wrath?
No, I think avarice is envy or greed.
I don't know.
All my knowledge, I would love
I
to
don't
say it's because I'm a
sin
good
against
Catholic.
any of these.
I've
Can
been
we-
watching
can
an
we do it?
anime show where like the 7 deadly sins are characters.
What?
Like,
What anime show? What anime show?
Full Metal Brotherhood, Alchemist or whatever.
Full Metal Jacket?
Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood or something.
Oh, okay.
I don't know,
Wait,
but like
so-
I want to
This is
make it
getting
very
weird.
clear
Wait.
that that's how I know.
Can we just lust?
We already did this.
I know, but I want to think of them again.
Lust.
Lust,
Greed.
greed, envy.
And they're different. Greed and envy are different.
Pride.
Why are greed and envy different?
Because one of them is wanting everything. Like I think greed is I want everything. Envy is Edmund has this and I want it.
Yeah.
So like it's still wanting something, but it's because you have
But envy is different than like there's a healthy version of that. Like
Now we're getting theological.
Well,
again.
what's the difference between envy and
Respect.
jealousy?
I think jealousy
God
and envy
is
are
jealous.
very close to each other.
God can be jealous because like you have it and I want it.
But it's rightfully his.
But envy is like you have it and I want you not to have it.
It's the same difference between righteous anger and wrath.
Yeah.
Okay,
Like
okay.
wrath is like always bad anger.
Okay,
Anger
so
is-
like jealousy is like you're really funny. I also want to be funny. Envy would be like you're really funny. I wish you would stop being funny
so I can
be funny. And you're a garbage person.
We should play the hate jealousy song. That's a jam.
Okay. So wait, lust,
might get our funding taken
greed,
away.
envy,
Wrath.
wrath. Wrath is like
Very self-explanatory.
Anger.
wait, but what like how is wrath like righteous anger is a good thing? Like why
Right,
is
it's the
wrath?
same. Well, because wrath is like definitionally it's the bad.
Maybe it's like
when bad.
revenge.
Yeah, but God has wrath, right? Like
So is that bad?
That's a good point. People
So-
say the wrath of the Lord sometimes.
so wrath is like unhealthy anger.
Is wrath like the correct definitional word, do we think? Because that was the name in the anime, but I want to make it very clear.
It's probably legit. Canonical.
We do have a catechism.
Nah.
Or 5.
Okay. Greed, envy, wrath,
Wrath. Lust.
lust. Is sloth one?
Yeah.
Did we say sloth?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sloth
sloth's
is one.
one.
I don't remember us saying sloth earlier.
Yeah, we did.
Okay.
Yeah, because sloth is gluttony.
Wait,
I've al-
sloth is gluttony?
No. I said and there's gluttony.
Okay, sloth, gluttony,
And then pride.
pride. Okay.
It's funny because like gluttony doesn't seem like as big of a deal as like pride.
Yeah.
Like I think of like everyone here has probably felt like pride. At
Wait, but
some-
how is gluttony different than greed?
Well, because greed's very different. Because it's like if I have the food, is greed is like I want to have all the best food at my house. Like I want Edmund to come over and have all this food, and it's really cool.
Yeah.
But like gluttony is I'm eating the food, all the food, like now, all gas, no breaks,
All gas, no brakes.
but also getting really drunk. Apparently, that's gluttony.
Yeah.
That's gluttony?
Yeah, priest got at me, and I was like, yeah, you're probably right, because
Yeah.
Wow.
it's abusing
Drinking
like
to excess.
a good.
Because
Oh,
it's
that's
like
true, yeah.
you start doing a little bit and you're like, I should do more.
That's gluttony.
Yeah,
That's
it's like
gluttony.
you have the normal amount, but it's like let's do a shot.
Do this.
So can you have gluttony for anything? Like, can you have gluttony for followers, gluttony for
Probably.
Yeah, I
for
would-
likes, gluttony for...
at a certain point, I think that would sleep into pride, though. Like
Yeah.
I think that's more pride.
Yeah.
So like
I think
gluttony,
pride is underlying.
it could
most
be
of them.
pride if you're just like trying to drink beers because people are watching. But if it's just like me, a Weezer album and like 50 beers, like that's probably gluttony.
Edward 40 Hands.
I love playing Edward 40 Hands.
Oh my
It doesn't even get me that drunk. That's like
Okay,
not
is that gluttony, greed?
I don't
That's
know.
all of the above.
This is
That's
exhausting.
all the above. Wow.
Who made
Let's
up the
talk
7 deadly
about
sins?
virtues.
Okay, what are
instead.
the virtues?
I knew a frisbee team at Francisco called the 7 Deadly Spins. I thought that was bad.
Oh, that's
What was your rugby team called?
Franciscan rugby team.
Oh.
Hey, I don't like the way you're
Whoa, why does
saying that.
his have a cool
No,
name?
it was
Because
like
it was
an
an intramural
intramural
sport. They
team.
made up nicknames for their team.
I can't believe you made a real team. I'm proud of you.
Yeah.
Oh, it's an actual real team.
Yeah, but like no one played rugby at Franciscan. That's why like everyone
Oh.
made the team.
Oh, but not those kids on the 7 Deadly
Intramural.
Spins.
They
That was
didn't wanna play
intramural
rugby.
sports. You could
Oh,
you
they
could
didn't
join
wanna
by
play-
Yeah,
just
this is
Okay.
like why would you voluntarily play rugby? Like why is that
Well,
like
Edmund
something
did.
you want to do?
it was fun.
Why
He
would
made
you
his
do
own-
that?
Yeah.
He likes
You want to know
huddling
the real
with
reason?
dudes.
Okay, the what?
You like huddling.
Rucking in
No,
a scrum.
I don't
dudes.
like huddling with
He
dudes.
likes scrumming with dudes.
Wait,
scrumming.
I like dudes scrumming.
He likes it
That's
when they
way
ruck.
better.
No, okay. No, I don't like it when they ruck. Like
For the rest
no.
of these are
that.
good
No,
rugby
why do you like
terms,
rugby?
people.
Hold
These are
on,
very funny
everybody.
jokes I'm
Hold
making.
on. It sounds so
This
gross.
is getting good.
Scrumming dudes scrums. Listen. Maddie. Okay. The real reason I tried rugby.
Okay,
This is the real story.
ready?
So there I was.
Wanting to scrum.
Hey. Okay. So
I got rucked one time and I was never the same.
hey.
It only takes once. Once you
No.
get rucked.
You never go
You
back.
never get unrucked. So I was walking through the JC and I saw a flyer that was like, I don't know, it was something dumb. It was like play rugby or something dumb. And I had no clue what rugby really was. I had like a general maybe idea, but I saw the flyer and the thought crossed my mind like you could go try to play rugby. Also, there were no pads or anything.
Yeah.
So I was like, man. And immediately my first response was, this sounds scary. Like, I don't know that I could do this.
Yeah.
Totally. But then the next feeling, which I think is, I mean, I don't want to be normative, but I think it is a very manly emotion, was like it was almost like seeing a flyer that said, we're looking for men to go to war.
Yeah, you were challenged.
Yeah, it was
Like
just
pride.
like,
Yeah.
it was just like it was just like the potential that like I could be a different person.
They were unleashing that raw masculinity.
No, but it was also like, if I showed up, all I needed to do in my mind, I was like, if I just show up, I might become a different person. I might become the type of person that plays rugby.
Right.
So it was so scary to me, like so ridiculously scary to me.
It was a life-changing moment.
Yeah, that I was like, so I went back to my roommate. I was like, John, there was this flyer for rugby. What if we played rugby? And he was like, I don't even know what rugby is. I was like, apparently it's a bunch of guys without pads.
Scrumming.
That just tackle each other.
Scrum and ruck.
So then
We do that already, John. Like, why not do it?
So then we type into Google, we type in like rugby.
Okay.
And we're watching some videos, like some professional rugby videos or whatever. But then for some reason, we came across some genre of YouTube videos. I don't know if you can find this, Kyle, but there's some genre of YouTube videos that are just, okay, so the other thing, so my roommate John and I are like, rugby seems dangerous.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it seems like football, but without pads. That seems
Right.
crazy.
Right.
But it's like the excitement of like, maybe we'll do this,
Yeah.
right? And then I'm turning to my roommate, John, and I'm like, if you do it, I'll do it. Like, let's just go. Let's just go to one
Yeah.
try. But then we're researching like rugby, right? No, Kyle, no.
We're not sharing the screen.
Not
Don't
ruck
worry.
till you screw.
Wait, can they see that?
No.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so wait. So
Ruck till you scrum.
So John and I are trying to do reconnaissance of like, what is rugby?
Yeah.
We're seeing these videos of international professional rugby players like creaming the crap out of each other. We're just like, these guys are massive. Like, but then we realize, and I'm like, John, I don't think they wear normal cleats. So we found out that rugby cleats. So no. Kyle,
You said that. What do you want me to search? You won't tell me.
Rugby cleats. Search rugby cleats. So we find out that rugby cleats. Okay, scroll down.
Rugby boots. They call them boots.
Yeah,
Keep
they
scrolling.
shoot. They
No,
shoot
keep
the
scrolling.
boot. That's a tradition when you score
Okay,
your
at the
first
top,
try. You have to drink beer out of the
type
boot.
this. Type rugby cleats fruit.
Fruit.
They made out of fruit?
There's some fruits on that team.
Hey. So, you can scroll down.
Oh, wait, the fruit.
No, keep scrolling. It's
BDs.
kind of like that, but keep scrolling.
We're not going to find it.
Okay, just stop for 1 second, then we'll find this. Okay, so we found out that rugby cleats have metal spikes.
That sounds ultra dangerous. I did not know that.
Yeah, I have scars on my shins from this. Oh, here we go.
Oh, the
Rugby boot
orange?
with citrus fruits. No,
Scroll
down. Rugby fruit. Okay,
Oh my gosh.
then we came across videos like this.
And this fired you up.
No.
Oh my gosh.
Why do people make videos like this?
ASMR.
That could be somebody's
Are
skin.
those clementines?
That could have been somebody's skin.
Brittany,
Yes.
why did someone make a video like this?
I don't know, but I want to see him like jump. So are you like 2 inches taller when you wear these?
Yeah.
Because those are.
Okay, let's click this guy's profile and see what other videos.
Oh god.
Okay, so
Alan.
imagine. Wait, but just let
you
me
can
set this.
destroy a man.
Too late. We already clicked the profile.
Okay, but let me set the scene.
Okay.
Me and John feel safe in our dorm room.
Right.
We're Googling rugby. Can we play rugby? Right? We're like,
Note that the timeline for this video doesn't match up at all with this story.
but get this. Like, we're trying to figure out rugby. Then we find out rugby players have metal spikes.
Yeah.
So
And
we
they
start
can-
searching like rugby cleats, and then we find some really weird videos like this where people like we found there's some rugby cleats that are like the spikes are this long.
What?
And this guy is just doing it to pineapples.
Holy crap.
And we're like, and it's just like 2-minute videos of guys impaling fruits with rugby cleats.
And then you're just imagining that on your body.
Yeah, and John and I are like, we should not play this sport at all.
Right.
And then we did.
But like,
wow.
A lot of people at Franciscan who play rugby wear like soccer cleats.
You can, I did for a while before. I don't think I ever
Before you
actually
got your real spikes.
because
the fruit spikes.
The real reason
Scrum
for the
spikes.
metal spikes is for forwards, because forwards are so like
forward
fast.
Yeah. Well, because soccer cleats have like plastic spikes, and if you're a forward, the way that you're scrumming, you can like break off the cleats.
Oh.
So the metal cleats they're like bigger,
Stronger.
Yeah.
Yeah. So technically everyone should have the metal spikes, but I never bought them.
What
'cause they were more
position did you
expensive.
play?
I played a back. I played a back.
That's very sophisticated.
Backs are normally like
position naming.
faster, thinner, stronger.
A real hard
Interesting.
moment for me was when I went to college and I started to learn about rugby. I asked Edmund what position he was, and he told me. And I asked my buddies, I was like, "Yo, tell me that's like a nerdy position." They're like, "No, that's like one of the harder ones. Like it actually takes some skill to throw it."
Wow.
They were saying that's a wimp position, but like you have to know how to throw the ball. Not, not everyone can
a
do
wimp,
that.
but a skilled wimp.
No, a back is.
I thought you were a scrummy. I thought you were a scrummy.
No, well, I did for a little bit.
That
but
was what impressed me.
yeah,
the scrummy
that
parts.
was yeah.
What's a scrummy?
Scrum is like kind of like the quarterback.
Yeah, it's the most quarterback. It's not as important as a quarterback,
Okay.
but like it's a real finesse.
Okay,
So
alright.
that's what you were. That was what impressed
There
me.
was some time that I was a scrummy for a while, but like the
Wow.
scrum is like the like everyone piles down, and then the scrum is the first person to go into the pile, grab the
Wow.
ball, and dip. But that was just for a little bit.
Wow.
The reason I'm so impressed by this is because Edmund doesn't really understand most sports.
No.
And never, like, he does not watch sports. He doesn't talk about sports. He doesn't, like, he calls most sports ball.
But I played soccer for 8 years. I played basketball for many, many years. And
JV.
then, well, but just like pickup.
That was the all-time best St. Francis Young Church activity was open court. That was the
Shut up,
best.
Kyle. I hadn't played basketball in a very long time.
I was speaking highly about that. That was
No,
he
you
wasn't-
like
no,
saying
he
that I
wasn't being
suck at
sarcastic.
basketball. Okay, I hadn't played in a
And
very,
then we were
very
like
long
on
time.
the same level. Neither one of us is good at basketball. I just meant it was fun. Like the gym would be open for 4 hours. I would get to play like sports for 4 hours. My mom was like, "Oh, Kyle's at church for 4 hours."
I do really like playing basketball with Kyle. Is very like Kyle on your team is pretty fun. But so
neither one of us are good, but like that's why I liked facing against Edmund because it was always very fair. Like one of us could be winning.
But Kyle and I are really good about like just hustle. We're not really good, but we're gonna hustle
and smack talk a lot.
Oh, that was my favorite. So in Florida, we do pickup games like after high school or after school. I would walk to the courts and they would have lights on and everything, and we'd play all night long. And the thing I loved the most was the trash talk. Like playing pickup with people you don't know and just talking and just constantly talking was so fun. It was like the most fun in the world. Was just talking trash. It was like it's almost like being a stand-up, but during something where everyone's just kind of like, and like
everyone's just ragging on each
and
other.
everyone's really focused, so you can kind of, it's like locker room. Like everyone's really focused, so you just kind of break the tension, and then people appreciate it. It's just so fun. That was the most fun in the world.
Oh, I love trash talking playing ultimate frisbee because people would take it serious and you just like have to like if you're gonna like put on cleats, and I would go to my buddies who played rugby and I would borrow their non-rugby cleats, like they were like soccer cleats, and I just remember we'd lace them up, we'd be playing, but like it was so fun because you're playing ultimate frisbee, so it's obviously it's not cool, and then you would see someone taking it seriously and you would make a joke, and it's a great joke because if you do it right, they laugh and they realize like I shouldn't be taking this like that seriously.
We used to play ultimate in college, and we would always play barefoot.
Ooh, that's fun.
That's really fun, especially if it's raining. Barefoot ultimate in the rain is
kinda hot.
the best. It was so hot.
Oh, I was a big cleats guy. I took it really because we were in like the bad league, but we were actually good, and we would just murder.
We would just
teams.
play like pickup games.
There was nothing better than
fun.
like dunking on the future priest.
Let's see if I can show you guys. Can I show you guys with this camera? So these two spots right here. See this right here? And this.
It's been a while since you shaved your legs, Evan.
You shave your legs?
Can you get a zoom in of the...
No, I don't shave my freaking legs, Kyle. Brittany's saying that. So this spot and this spot, it was the first time in my life that something hit. It wasn't like
pierced.
It wasn't like a scratch.
Right.
It was a pierce.
It hit so hard.
Like a
it punctured. It hit.
Yeah, puncture wound.
It just was like a blunt force.
Now, did you bruise your bone? Probably.
Maybe, I don't know. I'm too strong to notice.
Yeah, you're so strong.
But the two cleats, they just hit so strongly that it just started bleeding immediately.
Can you see that on the camera, Kyle?
Yes, you can see it.
That's
now he's moving
that's
it
a hairy
around.
leg with some
So, like,
scars.
this
is a better
and
angle.
this. The other scar that a lot of people question me about that I forget that I have. Here we go. Ready for this?
Yeah.
Is the moped scar.
Oh, I see. Yeah,
Which I've done twice.
Yeah, I always
at
notice
that.
this.
Oh.
It's a burn scar.
Oh, it's road rash.
No, it's from the heat of the.
Get it to this.
Edmund,
camera.
are you all right, bro?
Yeah. No, I'm trying to get them on. Okay.
In the meantime, I have a small
Oh wow!
scar on
I'm
my
really
wrist.
nervous for you
see
right
that
now.
one?
Can you see
You
it,
can't really
Kyle?
see it. Oh yeah, I got a great.
Oh
I got a
my
great
gosh,
view of it.
Edmund,
Right there.
We're looking right at it.
Oh my gosh.
that's bad. Does it
looks
still hurt?
worse in real life?
Does it itch?
Don't say it looks worse in real life.
No, I meant like the bright light of the camera doesn't make you look as tough as it does in real life.
Oh, okay.
That was supposed to be
Okay.
like
He's
an Edmund
fierce.
Is it
tough
supposed
guy.
to look like that?
Okay, so the first week I had my moped, it has this exhaust
Affectionately
manifold.
known as the homos.
No, the brand is Tomos, not Homos.
sorry.
You always get the letter wrong.
I always mix it up.
Okay,
yeah.
so
Tomos.
the first week I had the Tomos, it stalled at a light and I was nervous and I jumped off and the exhaust manifold is right there by your leg and it just really briefly, it just like this nanosecond was just like, and that's all it took. And then immediately it bubbles up
it was hot.
like 7th degree burn. And then, after a while, like, you know, you drain it, you put the Band-Aid on it, you do all that stuff. Then 2 months later, same thing happens. I get off the it like stalls. I jump off really quickly. No, wait. It was like this. Ready? I will do
All
it.
right.
It's like, just close your eyes. It's like,
Ooh.
then
Same spot.
second time, same freaking spot. Burn it again.
Wow.
It starts healing. It starts raining. So a couple weeks later, it's raining. It's been healing. And the first time I ever fell off the Tomos. So, and it was in my neighborhood. I wasn't even going fast.
Yeah.
But I was coming up to the stop sign and I wrongly squeezed the front brake and there was a puddle. So, and then the thing just slid down. And the Tomos wiped the whole scar, like the whole scab.
Oh, yeah.
The
just-
whole scab completely off.
Yeah.
It just
Did you
like
cry?
it was just like butter. It just like it just like took the right off the skim right off the top of the milk.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so I get off the Tomos and I look down and it's just like pure
Blood.
white. And it's not even bleeding yet. No, it's just pure
Oh, it's
white.
just like raw flesh.
Yeah,
was
it was
like
just like, here it
the
is.
first-
So
Wow.
I eat it as quickly as I can. I did. Because I wanted to ingest it.
Yeah.
So
So
my
you could-
body
Wow.
could use
You
those
could reuse
resources.
it, yeah.
Eat the placenta. So
Right,
I just like,
right.
I take, anyways. So that's probably why this will never heal
Yeah,
ever.
you've
But I forget that I
ruined it.
have it because I'm
You really
so
just
used to it.
And
messed
then you
up.
fell off the Tomos again a few weeks later.
Oh, yeah, right in
here.
front of you.
Yeah.
So Brittany's sitting in her Beamer, and, and you know what's funny is I had left, and then I knew I got a phone call because I had my AirPods in,
Yeah.
and so I was like, ah. And so I turned back around. I'm going really slow,
Yeah.
and I turn the corner right where there's a bunch of gravel, and the Tomos just
And I just look up and Edmund's on the ground.
it
Because
just
I
goes
hear the
on its
gravel.
side, and I slide through the gravel on my belly with my arms out. I just go. And I'm on the ground and I just like look up and Brittany's in the driver's seat of her Beamer just looking at me and I'm like, It was
Because I
so
heard the
uncomfortable.
gravel first and I look over and Edmund's just on the ground. I was like,
And again,
what?
just like to bring it full circle, just like the Razor with a motor with a motor on it,
yeah.
the engine's still going.
Yeah. Wow.
And so I awkwardly try to get back up. It's like,
Yeah.
flying. It was so embarrassing.
Wow.
Yeah. And then I was just like,
Why are we still friends after that?
I don't know. I have a thing about like
Losers?
with my friendship. Yeah, I want to be really like giving of myself in
Yeah.
friendship, and like so I'm willing to be friends with people who aren't very cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do like of all the loser friends you have,
Yeah,
where do I
biggest,
what?
biggest.
The biggest
Yeah,
loser?
yeah.
Okay. But like in a good way.
Sure.
Okay. Ricky, of all the friends, why did we just look up that?
I'm sending a
Kyle, why are we on Alana Boudreaux's?
No, because Kyle wants
How
to
did we
tell-
land there?
Kyle wants to tell us an embarrassing story.
Wait, but Kyle,
because-
how did we land there?
You're subscribed to her. It's on the left side.
Yeah, but why'd you click it?
Because I wanted to send a message that had a story, but I didn't want to.
Okay. What's
she-
your embarrassing story with a girl yelling at you that involves Alana
with
Boudreaux?
Alana yelling at me.
Alana yelled at you?
Yeah, I deserved it though.
Guys, let's clip this out. Okay.
Okay.
So I'm
Are we allowed to say her name?
well, it's way too late, and I want to make it clear that like I was at fault here, arguably.
So you deserve to be
Gosh,
yelled
I wish your
at.
camera was working.
No, I actually turned it on, so
Okay.
I figured it out.
Good.
So when I was in college, Franciscan has Penny and Sparrow come to
Yeah.
visit because like cool schools get cool artists, but like nerd Catholic schools get like nerd Catholic artists. Like
Right.
that was what we could pull.
But they'll like drop an F-bomb here and there, right?
Yeah, no, they're like
So
edgy.
they're like edgy for
and
Catholics.
so before,
Yeah, I went to a concert with them when they played a game where there was plexiglass and they put peanut butter on both sides and they had people like lick the peanut butter off the plexiglass, like a
Really?
guy and a girl.
What?
Lick
wow.
it's kind of hot.
Is that
Your youth group did
that's
that?
wild.
Yeah, she
That
was
is
wild.
Is that considered
inappropriate.
cheating on your
wild.
wife if you do that?
That's cheating on your wife. Oh my gosh. I would get fired.
Yeah.
If
That's
I would have
news to
done that
me.
in youth group, I would have gotten fired. Kind of hot though, if you think about it.
not when it's high schoolers.
Well, when I
Not-
watched
Not when
it,
it's
was-
16-year-old.
Yeah. But
not-
like grown
it's not
adults,
hot.
consenting adults. Sorry, Kyle.
So I before Penny and Sparrow concert, there's like a pre-concert dinner that I got to go to because I had helped like volunteer to do it, and I turned 21 like 2 days before, and this is like the first weekend or whatever, and I'm at this concert. And I'm drinking a lot of beer because it was like an open bar situation. Like no one's really drinking more than like 2 except for me. But I think it's really funny. And after like 4, I was like, okay, relax. And I made some joke to Penny and Sparrow, one of them. I don't remember if it was Penny or Sparrow. They said that's not how they did it. But
But you have a habit of talking at people on stage. I mean, this isn't the only
yes.
time in your life.
No, right now we're sitting down. I'm talking to Penny and
I know, but
Sparrow.
this isn't the only time in your life that you talked at someone on
Yes.
stage and they got upset.
Yes, no, I want to make it clear. Alana was probably right here. And I was talking to this dude, Kyle, who's in Penny and Sparrow, and he was really cool because the other friends were like starstruck. I had never heard of these guys before a week ago. So we were talking.
You're like, who are these losers?
Yeah, and they were like, dude, you should keep drinking. Like, that's cool. That's cool. I was like, yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. They were like, drink more.
pushers.
They thought it was hilarious that Kyle was drinking, and they were like, you should drink
They were
more.
like, look, you just turned 21. Like, you're at a concert. Keep drinking. And I was like, and I like didn't need a lot of encouragement. I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
yes.
Oh my gosh.
So I keep drinking. I'm drinking. I like, take a photo with one of them. I think I'm really cool. And then I go out to the concert itself. And at this point, I love Penny and Sparrow. We're like boys. And
At this point, 12 beers in, Penny and
boys.
Sparrow is the best band in the world.
right. So then I get out there and like we all leave, and it's not Penny and Sparrow. It's this other girl, Alana. And I never heard of her.
And you're
before.
like, boo!
I wasn't booing. I was like, okay, I don't know this girl, but like, I want to show her my support. So
Wait, so she went to
Was she
play.
opening
playing. Yeah,
for
she's
them?
like the
performed-
opener act.
She was opening.
Oh,
for them.
before.
Yeah, she's the opener.
Okay.
Wait, how did you get in touch with Kyle before they even played?
He was at the dinner.
I was at the
Are you
dinner. It was the
listening?
No, I'm
pre-show
not
dinner.
listening.
It was like the backstage pre-show
Oh,
dinner.
okay. So you go into the crowd. You're
And
pretty
I'm
toasty.
jazzed. Like I'm like ready. I'm like so here.
And
for this
Alana's
concert.
doing the opening act.
Yeah, and she's like really slow, like introspective music. And after every song, I'm like, woo! That was awesome. I was like trying to like pump the crowd. I was like, let's go! It's like I'm in a great mood.
That is so not Alana's vibe.
Yeah.
Right.
That is not Alana's vibe
And
at all.
eventually, I was like, after a song, I was like, woo! She goes, guys, this is a serious performance. Stop being obnoxious for the sake of being obnoxious. And like everyone like turns around, like looks
Everyone's
at me.
looking at you.
And I was like, ah.
Everyone's like, she's talking to you,
Yeah, but
Kyle.
can we be honest though? If it, like, let's say it is a serious performance, the last thing you want to say is, this is a serious performance. Like if you have to say this is a serious performance, like you've already lost.
Yeah, totally.
Don't worry. Then I got bullied during Penny and Sparrow's concert because at this point my vibe just crashed to the ground. Like, I feel really bad.
Yeah, how did you react? Like the floodlight comes to you, everyone's looking at you.
I'm just like hiding my face.
Yeah. You're just
But
like, that
then
wasn't me.
Penny and Sparrow comes on, and I'm like getting a little excited. And someone whispers to me, they go, Penny and Sparrow has a song called Brothers. It's like their best song.
It's really good.
And my
Makes
like
me cry. Sometimes it makes
college
me
like
cry.
household fraternity was called Brothers. And I was like, I'm like still sad, but I was like, wait, no, wait, like they have a song called Brothers? And they're like, yeah, you like it's coming up next, I think. You gotta go crazy. And I was like, boom, I'm back. They start playing the next song, which is not Brothers, by the way. They just start playing some other song, and I was like, hey, is this Brothers? And the guy was trying to tease me because he wasn't in Brothers. And I was like, whoa, Brothers! And like some other girl was like, that's not Brothers. And I was like, you jerk. So then they kept telling me like every song was Brothers, and I believed it like half the time, and they start roping in other people to tell me it's Brothers. And I'm just like pretty embarrassed. But at the end, they like go off stage, and I was like, guys, like they didn't play Brothers. Like, isn't that their big song? And they're like, yeah, they didn't play it. And they came out for the encore and played Brothers. And I am telling you, I went ballistic.
I bet.
And then I left happy. I was like, you know what? Finally, I yelled at the right time.
So do you, like Kyle, I think you should put the camera on you. And I think you should, like, if you needed to talk directly to Alana, obviously Alana's going to see this because there are so many millions and millions of listeners and viewers.
And she'll see it.
But Kyle, if, like, I know your heart, and I know Alana's heart, and I know that Kyle, like, if you could speak to her today.
What would you say?
I think you would say something kind. I think you and her would reach a mutual understanding, and I think you should say that to the camera. What would you say?
Alana, first of all, I wanted to say that I'm sorry and that I quit drinking after that night. Until like
the next day.
Well, that was a Thursday, so the next day was like Friday, so like it didn't last long. But I do want to say I'm sorry because I didn't fit the vibe. That was not cool. And then afterwards, I said, Alana's a classic TTM girl because I had heard that was your household and Franciscan.
Was Alana TTM?
Yeah. And I stereotyped her household, and that's not cool. And I'm sorry to you for that.
Ricky and I don't know about these Franciscan
It's a good bit if you knew. It was a good line. People were like, got him, Kyle.
But she's no longer TTM.
Well, they all have graduated, but Kyle still thinks he's in Brothers.
Well, yeah, to like die.
Wow, man.
Because I'm not married yet.
Okay, Kyle, if Brittany and Ricky and Maddie were in a household, what household, and me, because I never was in a household.
This is getting
the Franciscan household. It's kind of like Harry Potter.
Deep in this.
It's just like Harry Potter. You are the Sorting Hat. What household would Ricky, Brittany, me, and Maddie
and
be
why?
All right. I'm going to really draw on my memory. Edmund would be in LOJ because not only does he have some friends in LOJ, but Edmund's big thing is that he like doesn't want to join a group because he feels like I'm like cooler in this group and I like don't want to be limited. And LOJ was a household that was very casual. Like they weren't like once those guys graduate, they grow up. Like not like what I would do. Like,
what's your relationship as a brother with LJ?
Oh, we're like casual friends with those guys. Like we never beefed with them or anything because we could tell that we were serious about ours and they weren't. Like they would never get in an argument with us because they were.
They would just
cool
let it go.
Yeah, they were cool guys.
That's fair. I like that assessment.
I liked LJ.
Yeah.
Okay, so Ricky, I'm gonna want to expand upon this Kairos thing a little bit. So you're a Kairos guy. You went to a Catholic high school. Have you ever done any Catholic summer camp in your career, or been involved with any?
I led worship at a Life Teen summer camp.
Guardians of the Divine Word, folks. You're in Guardians.
Are they the Life Teen crew?
I have friends who are in Guardians.
I am so good. I read them like a book. Yeah, Guardians. They're praise and worship guys. They're like pretty hip and cool.
All right.
And they love like that Life Teen. That's like very much what they're into. Okay.
Respect.
You feel
Brittany.
All right, Brittany.
Appropriately categorized.
So
what are the camera angles? Because you are just really you're rocking into this vibe here. Are you like?
I'm going
I don't
back
see your
and
hands
forth.
pulling the camera angles at all.
Okay,
like I want this to be good. I want us to be able to cut this out and like see reactions and just go back and forth.
Like where am I looking at?
Where I am adjusting sometimes. You're always on the camera, so you don't need to worry about anything.
You don't need to worry about anything.
Dang it.
Okay, Brittany, so like what do I know about you in college? I know you were like pretty fun, but I also know you are an award-winning Catholic.
St. Francis.
But also at the same time, Brittany kind of a sleazebag. Like dated a lot of guys, did a lot of unquestionable things with guys.
Wow.
But like,
I just wanted you. Well, I like nothing about
sleazebag.
Well, nothing against you. I'm just saying like. Augustine slept with a lot of women.
Every saint has a past.
I'm just saying, yeah.
And every sinner has a future.
Fathered a lot of illegitimate children, so did you. And I just think that, Kyle, you need to...
Keep in mind all my illegitimate children. Little flowers?
I'm going to put you in the little flowers.
Yeah.
Saint Therese?
Yeah.
I mean...
do you like Saint Therese?
Yeah, I do.
No, I was going to say, I feel like you probably have devotion.
I do.
Little flowers were like cool girls. They were like fun to be around.
They were fun, all right.
You know, like... They were like a little crazy.
Yeah, they kiss. Dang. They kiss you.
Yeah, like
kiss each other?
Before marriage.
No, not each other. No, not each other, Ricky.
Sorry.
Wow, this took just a good turn.
Wow.
Okay. All right, Maddie, this is tough. So, praise and worship, yay. Latin mass, yay. Where are you at on the spectrum? If praise and worship is a 1, Latin mass is a 10. Where are you at?
Where am I at?
Yeah.
I'm probably 4.
No, she's life teen all the way.
All right, life teen all the way. You're wearing all neutral colors. Are you local to California? Are you native to California?
Native, yeah.
Native to California. That's tough. That's tough. Mary. Think she's cool?
What household would Claire be in?
Claire.
Claire McKellen.
She was in Little Flowers.
I feel like Maddie and Claire.
Well,
Regina and
I feel like Maddie and Claire.
I can see Regina. Regina's they are a little bit of a mixed bag. Like they are pretty cool in that they have a lot of different people, so it's tougher just to stereotype them unless you're a girl that rides a motorcycle.
Oh.
But
Do you ride a motorcycle?
I
Your
was
roommate
gonna
rides a
put
motorcycle.
you in Theotokos, which I like Theotokos. But
Kyle, I need your opinion on the AMDG.
Oh, very bad guys.
Oh,
Dangerous.
they're not bad guys.
Absolutely.
Gomer, Michael Gormley. He's a
Bad-
great
They were
guy.
AMDG.
Bad guys.
So many people come out of AMDG.
Are you friends with Robbie Joseph?
No, I'm
Oh,
not.
thank goodness.
Wow,
He's an
called out.
AMDG life teen guy who lives in California. That's not a stretch.
Oh.
No, I don't like that.
This is
man.
the most.
He bullied
niche
me when I was in
podcast
freshman.
we've
Yeah.
ever done.
This is no longer semi-Catholic. This is full on Franny.
Yeah, I didn't want to get into this, but I'm always willing to talk about it. It's a
Yeah.
flaw. But no, AMDG bullied me when I was in college. This is a fact. And then I bullied them for 3 years after that.
But did you have a thing where you had to ring the bell?
Yeah, I rang the bell a lot in college.
And that's
does that mean?
That's a euphemism.
No, it was like a
for
challenge.
that one
It's a
mortal
confession.
sin?
Yeah, it's a confession thing.
See,
Yeah.
this is funny to non-Franciscan people.
Yeah.
So it was a thing when I was a freshman. I was like a pledge or whatever, an intent. Like this older guy who's an active member came up to me and like my little pledge buddies, and he was like, "Hey, are you tough?" And I was like, I'm super tough. I was like, I'm the toughest guy in the world.
Kyle.
And he goes like,
Oh my god.
"Are you stealthy?" And I was like,
Stealthy.
I was like, I move in silence. And he goes, "All right, I have a mission for you guys." I was like, what's the mission? I'll do anything. I told him,
He would do anything.
Wow.
Anything.
100%.
Tell us about that.
And what he told me was, he said, "You got to go ring the bell tower on campus. There's a bell.
Oh, I've
and
heard
if
this
you like
story.
put a stool up, you can climb up and you can reach up and ring it." And I was like, "Oh, just like go ring the bell." He goes, No. You start ringing the bell." I was like, "Well, like when do we stop?" He said, 1 of 2 ways. Either the campus police chase you or you break the record." And I was thinking, I was like, what?
And the record was how many bells?
record was 48 rings.
Holy
Wow.
And you got to keep in mind, you don't count the rings. It's not a self-reported ring situation. The rings
it's
are
what
counted
people
from
hear.
across campus.
And like how quickly could you between bells? I mean, it was like
dong, dong.
yeah, like it
dong.
was.
Wow.
It was a
So we're talking like a solid minute of ringing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
because you couldn't go dong 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 dong.
No.
Like it was a dong.
Did you ever ring the bell?
No, it was a. Oh, I thought about it. It was like a dong.
Many
dong,
are called,
dong.
but few are chosen.
But you couldn't do dong 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 dong. That was too many dongs.
So I make a plan and I assemble my crew of my
there
3
are
guys.
too many.
Your dong crew.
And we have our roles because I was like, what are we good at? And we were all like skinny dudes. It's like, okay, one of us is a little bit muscular, so he'll do the ringing. I was like, but we can run.
To do
That
the
was the
donging.
thought process. I was like, we could probably outrun the fuzz.
Yeah.
And we
Yeah.
wait for
The Jeffies.
The Jeffies.
The Jeffies were the
campus security
Jefferson
guys.
campus security.
Okay.
And we wait for a night where there's like this one Jeffy who was like looked slow. He was a little big.
He's a big guy.
I didn't think
He
could
smoked a
catch
lot.
us.
He smoked a lot. He was a townie. He just wasn't in shape.
And we-
you know what? He wasn't Jeffy's best. He wasn't the best of the best.
And that guy's important, this big Jeffy, because he shows up later. And we climb up.
It sounds like a racial slur to call someone a Jeffy.
A big Jeffy.
Sounds like
gosh.
cancel that person.
Yeah.
But that's what they were called. Jeffies. The Jeffies.
All right.
So we go out on the cover of
In
Darkness.
Mexican, it's called jefes.
It's
And-
called, the language is Spanish.
No, it's called Mexican. Okay, Kyle, keep
You're
going.
gonna get us
we
canceled.
start ringing this bell, and me and my buddy James are on the bottom. Mike's up top ringing. Everyone's got biblical
And
names.
is there a rope?
Yeah, there's a rope, but we had brought an additional rope because the actual rope was really high. But
So
it
how
had
did you get to it?
We took a stool. I'm gonna go on the camera. We had this like bar, like a bench, and we turned it sideways. Mike climbed up. He had a carabiner that he attached to like the chain, and then we had a rope hanging down.
Wow.
It was a scheme. It was a
Wow.
scheme.
Yeah.
So we're ringing the bell like crazy. Mike's ringing, and we hit like 48. So now we've broken the record, but we don't want to break the record. We want to smash the record.
Yeah, you don't want anyone to ever be able to break this again.
So we ring it until we think we get to 100. It was later, the official count was 96, we're really upset about, but then 96 is actually double 48, so we were like, oh, we just doubled you guys. So we finished ringing, and like the Jeffies do not care. They have not come. And we're so disappointed because we wanted to run. Like, I'm wearing like freaking cleats. And the Jeffies don't come, so we like walk back to the dorm like kind of dejectedly. The guys were like expecting us to get caught. They were a little disappointed in us. And they could tell we were disappointed, so they decided in the spirit of continual excursion. The model of Franciscan is continual conversion, but we were all about like continual excursion. Like, you did one prank, like do another prank. Like, that was like our big MO. And so they're like, well, what are you guys going to do to top it? And I remember I looked like the guy in charge and I said, we're going to steal the Jeffy hat. And every Jeffy had this hat on that said Jefferson Security. And I was like, we could take it. If I get up behind this guy, like, I can grab it. And I remember
just take off running.
Yeah, that was the plan. That was the plan.
Steubenville felt like the wild, wild west. Steubenville felt like you could get away with anything. Like, it just felt...
stealing a hat from a police officer is not really...
He's not a police officer. He's security.
Or
he's not even
rent a cop.
I know, but Steubenville, like, really, as someone who came from another part of the country, when you go to Steubenville, you feel like you could get away with anything. Like, it just felt like...
But the things you guys are talking about are not not illegal things.
Have you ever stolen the hat off of a security officer?
Rent a cop?
No.
Well, don't worry, I haven't either. So we walked out of the dorm, and it's like
alert.
three boys, like, our like heads are filled with like these great ideas, and like
Grandeur.
our hearts are steeled. And we walk out of the dorm, and it's pretty late, and I see a Jeffy. I see the big guy, and he looks at us, and we look at him. We're like eyes wide as the moon, and he says, "I'll never forget this." He says, "You boys up to anything tonight?" And we were like, "Nope, just walking back to our dorm." And he's like, "Good." And it was very obvious that he knew what we were like doing. Like, it's like midnight, and like three dudes in like athletic clothing, like walking out of the dorm with trouble on their minds.
What I love about all of these stories is that like 90% of the people in these crazy stories have a holy hour scheduled.
Right. For like 7 a.m. the next day. Or like 1 a.m.
Like, have a holy hour.
Up in the middle of the night.
A holy hour that they're like, oh, I really got to make this holy hour.
Yeah.
But also I have to steal the hat off this Jeffy.
Right.
A year later, though, my buddy Matt had this scheme to steal a hat from the Jeffy because we didn't get it done. And he had it was like a corner on the route where he was going to steal the hat, run around the corner, and there was a car waiting. And he does it. And he gets in the car, and they drive away, and they look at the hat, and it was a new Jeffy, and it didn't have the logo on it. It was just an all-black baseball cap. And I've never been more disappointed in my life because he had told me about it. And I called him. I was like, dude, you got the hat? Like, that's so cool. It was just like a black baseball hat. I think he returned it. I think he like dropped it off at the office.
Like, I picked this up off one of your guys.
So you have the two sins that aren't sins: stealing and gossip, and trespassing.
And then how do you feel like hearing Kyle's stories? Do you feel like you missed out on
No,
stuff
I did
at
stuff like
Franny's?
that. I'm not going to tell those stories, but I did stuff like that as well. Yeah.
I didn't know if you like felt like
Kyle
upset
definitely
'cause you
has
weren't a part of
crazier
the-
stories. Like, Kyle stole some furniture out of the calf.
One table.
Yeah. Kyle has crazier stories, but I feel like I took advantage of the situation as best I could.
Okay.
Edmund has some weird stories about it. Maybe aren't podcast appropriate.
Yeah, definitely not.
Most of his stories are not
He
podcast
also
appropriate.
played rugby. Like, that probably took up some time.
Yeah.
Like, what was I supposed to do? Edmund is just body's just getting pulverized in a ruck every day.
My body's just getting rucked and rucked.
And it's just like,
And that's what
after
you
that
liked.
many scrums, do you have the energy to ring the bell? Probably
well,
not.
but I was never in a scrum because I wasn't a forward. I was
When
a
you
back.
were getting rucked, were you scrumming?
No. Forwards were in the scrum.
Well, your hands would go in the scrum at the end, right?
Oh.
No. Well, sometimes I would reach my hands into the scrum. When I played scrummy, I had to reach my hand into the scrum
Was
or
it
the ruck.
gross?
I mean, it was a little gross.
It's
Like
kind of hot.
sticky?
It's kind of hot.
This is like that. Once we get past an hour and a half in the podcast, there are no rules. Because anyone
no
who's
rules.
listening after an hour and a half,
It's gone.
The safety belts come off after an hour. Yeah,
we're an hour and 40 minutes in.
We should wrap it up.
Okay, so yes, when I would reach my hands into the scrum, sometimes it was gross. Yeah.
Was it
I
sticky?
would never be in a scrum because a scrum is a set piece. A scrum is, there's a penalty. Everyone comes together. All the forwards come together. They set up.
How many people scrum at one
lot.
time?
A lot.
Wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think 8 to 10.
sounds.
No way.
I think
So you
it's 8 to
have
10.
8 dudes scrumming at one time?
I
Yeah,
mean,
it's pretty
holy-
cool. I would recommend if you ever
So-
could watch like one rugby game, it is cool.
So the scrum is for the forwards, but that's like there's a penalty. They all set up, and then they go crouch, touch, pause, engage, and then they engage, and
Do
they're
they
trying
say
to,
those words?
Yeah, and then they
They
try
say
to
engage.
Yeah, and then they try to push each other off,
We don't do anything till you engage.
and then the scrummy goes in and goes like, "Oh, give me the ball," and then I throw it
How
out.
does it go?
Wow.
But oh, give me the ball. But
Clip that stream. Clip that stream.
Yeah, I go, oh, give me the ball, and then I'm like, but the backs are like the quick people.
yeah.
the backs are the people that look, even in professional rugby, the backs look like soccer players.
Okay.
The forwards that do scrums,
They look like
they
linemen.
look like they eat a lot of cheese and drink a lot of whole milk.
And babies. They might eat babies.
Yes,
They're
they
tough.
eat babies. They're big guys. They're big boys.
Yeah.
But a ruck is whenever someone's running with the ball and gets tackled, anyone can be in a ruck. So
Okay.
a ruck is like someone gets tackled and then immediately someone runs over to protect the ball and like sets up a position, like boom, I'm above the, and then the scrummy comes in and goes, give me the ball. Oh, give me the ball, and then throws it. Yeah.
Interesting.
And then sometimes
Interesting.
men will pick up other men and put them up in the air so they can catch the ball. That's
Wow.
weird.
Really?
Oh wait, yeah.
So that's when we throw the ball in bounds, because in soccer, you throw the ball in bounds and then people are just like, oh, I'm going to catch it with my feet. But in rugby, it's like, we're about to throw the ball in bounds. So take another man by the hips, grab him firmly, lift him up in the
Hoist.
Hoist
and
it.
then it's easier to grab the ball.
Right.
Because no one can get it because
He's
you have
taller.
your gentleman
Right.
friend
Right.
in the air.
So would you ever
So John, my
scrum
roommate was a lift up in the air guy.
a flyer, if you will?
I forget what they're called,
To
but
use
yeah, they're
cheerleading terms.
yeah. I
Would
forget
you
what they're
ever scrum while you were rucking?
called. No, no, I wouldn't scrum while I was rucking.
Must have been pretty
A
bad.
scrum is a
after.
set piece. A
And
scrum
you would
is
do
like
that after
a scrum is like
after
the-
you rucked. then
No,
you would
the scrum is like the referee goes "Woo!" penalty, and then like we're gonna do a scrum, so everyone goes up and they're like, oh. And what's funny
They don't
is
like to scrum?
Yeah, what's funny is all the
So you
forwards are
all
like,
scrum on command.
yeah. What's hilarious is like all the forwards are like, oh, we got to do a scrum.
No, we
It's
got
like, yeah, we got to do a scrum, and then we all set up, and we do it. Okay, here we go.
And they say
then,
do a scrum instead of
and then
just-
they do the scrum like, and then the scrummy comes in and goes, give me the ball, and they grab the ball and they go, and then we throw it, and then people run.
Wow.
But
Wow.
people don't like to scrum.
Oh, I thought people did
Because
like
I always
to.
see the scrums.
But here's the reason why people don't like to scrum. Because it's painful. I mean, it's like, imagine your shoulder is in someone's arse.
Wow.
What's arse?
And then their butt,
Oh,
like imagine their butt, and then their spine goes to their shoulder, that then goes into the other,
why
And
is
so-
someone on your shoulders?
because that's how you push on the scrum. You get down, you get your shoulder
Oh.
in their butt, and then you just, like that.
Sounds like a lot of
The goal of the scrum is to push the other team
Back.
completely off of the ball.
so your scrummy can get in there
Yeah, so you wanna
and get his
you
hands
wanna
in the scrum.
so you wanna overwhelm their scrum.
Yeah.
With your scrum.
Your scrum's got to be bigger than that.
Your scrum should be
you have
bigger
to
than
scrum more.
Yeah, you want to be the scrum lord.
Oh,
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah, so you want to push their scrum away.
Yeah.
But also
that-
win the scrum.
Yeah, you want to push their scrum away so that your scrummy can grab the ball.
Right. Okay.
And then your scrummy throws it to the backs, the backs run. There you go.
Interesting.
Rugby, folks.
So bing bang bong.
Respect.
Bada boom.
Bob's your uncle, the scrum.
Boom.
That was your rugby 101 lesson for today.
All right,
Given
Ricky.
by Edmund.
Where can people find you, Ricky?
People can find me on @arc.creative. Creative spelled CRTV.
Where else? Do you have a
That's-
website or
I don't
email?
have a website.
or-
Oh, I do have a website for a brand that I created, prayforus.co.
Ooh,
Yeah.
That's a good website.
It's prayforus.shop because .co is too expensive.
How do you describe the creation project to people?
Oh, yeah. So the creation
Wow, we
project.
forgot to talk about this.
The creation project is basically a space for young creatives to come in community and to learn from people who are professionals or even people their age, and just be in community and grow as a creative in the church and just learn. Basically, that's what it is, just to be in community and to learn.
Yeah.
And it's been awesome because we've had people from basically all over the world tune in and come to our sessions.
You've had some really great guest speakers, one of which
Was
Edmund Mitchell.
Yeah.
That was a really great speaker.
I've heard of her.
Yeah. She's amazing. She's a babe. She's a babe of the Lord.
A babe of the Lord, as our friend Nick Gutierrez would say.
Yeah.
Babe of the Lord.
I just want to eat you up.
So, also, Ricky, you're thinking about working at the studio full
I thought
time.
this was a done deal.
This was already done. I'm thinking about it.
You're going?
I thought I thought this was a done deal.
Where contracts are
I
signed.
don't know. It's like we're dating, but we're not dating. Like, do we
Just
know?
ask him to marry you.
Okay, marry me.
Well,
Say yes.
okay, so this is a funny story.
Just
When
say
Edmund
yes.
asked me to work for the studio, we got in this
I didn't hear this story.
he asked me to sleep with him.
I did. I really did. Tell the story.
first
Tell
time.
the story.
Asks
Tell
a
the
lot of
story.
people
So
that
it was
question.
him-
Don't feel flattered.
Tell the story. Tell the story.
It was him and Allie, and this was the very first time that Edmund like pitched the whole story, like the whole thing about me working full time for the studio. And he's like, "Yeah,
Was this
basically,
last week?
No.
this is like 2 months ago."
Yeah.
And he goes like, "Basically, I sleep with everybody here." I'm like, "I want to sleep with you." I'm like, basically, what I'm trying to say is, Ricky, will you sleep with me?
That's inappropriate. And I'm
Why
sure
would
I
you
didn't
say that?
I didn't say
You're
that.
an HR nightmare.
I did not say that.
What?
There's no way I said
Our
that.
entire
that?
Oh
Yes.
my
I
gosh,
believe
I'm
it
a horrible person.
1000%.
Okay, well that's not what I meant.
Yes, it is.
No, it was a metaphor for work for the studio.
Did you
But
sleep
you said,
with him?
but you did say it.
Okay, I kind of said it, but it was a joke.
Yeah, it was a joke.
But
Full
I do-
disclosure.
but I do like you.
You are an HR nightmare. I'm calling the girl an HR.
But I do like Ricky, and Ricky, it would be cool
There's
if Ricky
HR here?
was like a more of a regular person at the
There's
studio.
about to
That
be.
would be really cool, right? Don't you think?
Yeah,
Brittany?
no, 1000%. I don't think you guys should sleep with one another, but I do think
Brittany?
I do think
Maddie
Ricky
doesn't
should
think
work
that-
at the studio full time.
Yeah.
And that's what's going to happen. Because Ricky's graduating from college.
Also,
and-
Ricky, can you look into the cameras and convince your
I
parents?
just broke my bottle.
What?
Yeah, Edmund bit that off.
Hey, what the hell?
I'm sorry, I bit it. I bit it
We
off.
have another one, don't we?
Ricky, I want you to look into the camera as we close out the show
That one.
and convince your parents to move to Dallas instead of Austin, because I feel like, I don't know if this is true, but I feel like if your parents move to Dallas, you'll be more likely to work at the studio, right?
Yeah.
But
In
if they move to
person.
Austin, if your parents
Like,
move
you're
to
going to
Austin,
work for the studio regardless, but he's
No,
saying
but
in person.
In person versus remote.
if your parents move to
Right.
Austin, you'd be less likely to move to Dallas.
Yes.
See?
Yes.
See, Brittany?
Yeah.
That's true.
I think Mr. and Mrs. Cruz should move to Grapevine.
Yep.
I think
It's
they
a
should
great
move-
place.
honestly.
Every California person moving to Texas has to go to the Austin internment camp. We have given them that. I don't think we need any in Dallas. Wow. But you can move here, Ricky. I give you my permission.
But my parents should be in Austin.
Okay.
I give them my permission as well.
But look into the camera and convince your parents to move to Dallas.
Well, the thing is, my dad's already leaning towards Dallas.
Yes!
Well, close him.
I
Close
love
him.
your dad. I love your dad.
Mr. Cruz.
Close your mom.
We're closing it.
Close your
Buy
mom.
the house now in Dallas.
Yeah.
We have
Cancel
real
everything.
estate agents we can get you in touch with.
Yeah.
Interest rates
Everyone.
are really low.
Super
it's a
low.
great time to buy.
Super low.
Everyone down here is a real
You
estate
can
agent.
probably pay cash for a mansion with the sale of your home.
Yeah, but Ricky's parents don't want a mansion. They want a
Well, they
respectable
don't have
home.
to buy a mansion, but they could.
They
if they
want a-
You
wanted
want
to.
like a family.
Yeah, they want a
nice-
retirement
nice-
home. They want a retirement home.
Oh, we haven't asked Ricky which rooms people have died in at the studio yet.
Okay, Ricky.
Oh.
Okay, here's the game we always play with
going
guests from
so
now
long.
on. We're always going to play this with guests.
If you've made it this far,
Okay.
God bless you.
Okay, there are 5 rooms
And then
in
this is
the
my day.
studio.
He's doing it wrong.
Okay, do it, Kyle.
You do it.
5 rooms in the studio, Ricky.
Okay.
2 people have died here. 2 different rooms.
Okay.
Which rooms? And for the record, we're being 100% serious. Like, this is actually happening.
So
is
this
real.
was in like the leasing. Did this say in the
No,
leasing?
found out
we didn't find out
afterwards.
about this
We
till
found out
like
afterwards because
months
some
ago.
woman walked into the door.
A chiropractor.
While I was
And this
in a
is
meeting.
a chiropractor's office.
Yeah.
Yes.
While
It
I
was
in,
before the
that, it was
chiropractor.
a
They didn't
residential
die
property.
in the chiropractor's
residential
office.
property before
Oh, so it was
that.
a house.
It was a home,
It was a
yes.
Some
home, yeah.
woman walked in the door. I was in a meeting. She was just like, here's all this stuff about the. I used
Somebody
to be
died
here.
in
Yeah.
But
Wow.
2 people.
Yeah.
Which rooms?
That room, the one behind like the reception desk.
Incorrect.
Is that the
Really?
bathroom?
No,
You
not
know,
the bathroom.
the smoke room.
The smoke, yeah.
No,
The
my
smoke
room.
room. Which one's the smoke room?
It's my room
The
where
one
I
back
work.
there.
The one
The
directly
reception area?
The one directly.
Congrats
behind.
to Ricky on knowing exactly what I meant when I said, "Oh yeah, the smoke room."
Yeah.
You picked
Why
that
is
up
it called that?
Wait, why would you call it the smoke room?
Because
Why do
we-
both of you know it's the smoke room?
We just called it that when Paul Swope had a concert here because it was decorated like that.
But how did Ricky know that was the smoke room?
That's a good
You
question
just
for
went
Ricky.
with it because
I just went with.
it's called improv, Edmund.
All right, well,
I'm an actor.
Ricky,
I'm an actor.
Ricky's intense.
Yes,
I'm an actor.
good.
I'm an
Ricky is
actor.
good.
Incorrect.
Ricky is so good.
That's
Okay, that
not
was
one of
incorrect.
them. So there's only 4 left.
This room?
Yes.
Ding, ding.
One. And was it the mom or the daughter?
I don't.
I think the
remember.
daughter
forget.
is here.
Wow.
Okay.
Okay, so a person died in this room.
Okay.
The daughter.
And
She
then
was still
the front
old.
room?
Front row.
Yes.
Front room.
Yes, that's right.
Front room.
That would be like the living room. If
Yep.
it was
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the
Makes
mom
sense.
died in the living room and the daughter died
You
in
know
here,
what?
which is
I
the
think you're
bedroom.
right.
Yeah,
Wow.
pretty sure.
All right. So sell your dad on Colleyville or Grapevine or whatever.
So this room right here.
It's
this
haunted.
little room. No, it's not haunted.
Oh.
Are you
She
sure?
went straight to heaven.
That's why I sit here. I don't like that. Room.
yeah.
That's why he
This-
stays in the closet.
this-
Have you gotten
Small-
this place blessed?
No, not yet.
we
Are you-
should.
Could you bless
Are
it?
you a priest?
I'm not a priest.
Well, but lay people can bless.
Oh.
can they?
Well, kind of.
Yeah, they can bless a little bit.
It's not the same
So
type
it's like
of blessing.
half. It's like a half blessing.
It's not the same type of blessing, but it is.
This is getting weird.
We have a holy water bottle, but I don't think there's any holy water.
no,
in it.
there's not.
No, it's expensive holy water.
like this. Like these are nice ghosts. These aren't like
Yeah.
demons. in
Yeah,
there.
it's like friendly.
Yeah.
Well, no, just because someone.
Casper.
Well, but this is what I said. Brittany immediately was like, "Oh, it's haunted." Blah blah. I'm like, just because you die doesn't mean you haunt the freaking place that you.
Well, I just don't trust that
Like
they
are
were
these
holy.
are nice ghosts, right?
Maybe.
Like,
we don't know.
People die every day, all the time.
But like, are they good or bad
Yeah.
people?
Like,
Yeah,
it doesn't
but
make you
when
a
you
ghost.
die, are you gonna haunt people?
Yes.
That's what I'm saying.
But just as a
most
practical
people
joke.
Yeah,
will
like in a
haunt
funny
people.
way.
Just as a practical
Are you
joke.
gonna haunt Kyle?
Yes.
Yeah.
100%.
But like in a funny way. Though.
Yeah.
Like an endearing way.
Like
Okay.
slamming doors behind
If I
you.
die young, I'm gonna want to
thanks for
die
checking in. I'm
one of the
still
other
busy.
rooms here in the studio to like make it better. Like if I found out I'm like gonna die, maybe I'd want to go die in the kitchen just to
Yeah.
like spice it up.
Yeah, smart.
All right. So
All right,
are we
we should-
is he selling his parents?
I think they've already been sold.
They're sold.
They're
All
sold.
right.
Welcome to Grapevine, Mr. and Mrs. Cruz, and Ricky, and Maddie.
All right. Closing comments. I got my finger on the trigger.
All right, closing comments. Thank you everyone for watching. Go to drinkstudiocoffee.com. Order coffee. When you buy coffee, you support
might
the
come in
studio.
this bag.
You support the studio. You support Ricky. You support Brittany. You support me. You support Maddie. You
Kyle.
support Kyle.
Thank
And the
Kyle.
ghosts in this room.
All Kyle's
drinkstudiocoffee.com. Patreon.com/the-studio.
Mm-hmm.
Just support us. You know what? This has been a great time. Thank you, everyone. What are we going to do? We're going to music to close it out, Kyle.
Just shut her down, Kyle.
Shut her down, Kyle. Thanks, everyone, for watching.
Woo! Edmund! Oh, the tequila!